let's see. We're live. We're live. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. Let me sit for a few minutes while you all jump on. Is it chat on? All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna sit and chill for a quick second. Let you guys off on. Let's see what's going on. Let me get my little hellos in. Let me move my laptop here because I don't like y'all looking at my jacked up hairline today. What's this? AJ, Brittany, Denise, cartoon lover, Bethany, movies, FN. All right, Natasha, Tanya Jones. I recognize that name. I see you on all the videos. All right, somebody knows Calvin Quincy. Somebody been following for a long time. If you know Calvin Quincy. Well, Alan, what's going on, Alan? By the way, y'all need to check out Alan's YouTube channel. By the way, he has a lot of really great music and stuff on his channel. His channel is hold on, I'm subscribed to it. Let me see if I have it on here. Hell, Alan, type your YouTube username in the chat so people know because I'm trying to find it on my thing real quick. Beauty, Bibby, cartoon lover, Nikki. Yeah, we go. Alan Lewis. What was I thinking? Yeah, check out Alan Lewis's channel. He has a lot of good stuff on his, especially if you're like a music head. Hello, Marie. Niyama, Karen. That's my mama name. D. Okay, Bay Area. Actually, I'm gonna be there in like 3 weeks. I'm going that way on the 10th. I'm gonna see my folks in Oakland and Richmond. Healthy Girl, Mischievous, Quentin Wade. I recognize your name as well. DJ Fresh Beats, Goddess, Sean Lloyd, Kay, Jasmine Foley. Hello, all of y'all. This laptop is working my nerves today. Gotta figure out how to put this something somewhere else. Let's move it down some. What's going on? Jalil D. Oh, I need a favor from y'all, by the way. So last time we did a chat, one of my old kids that like moved away was in the chat and I didn't even know. And I missed every comment they had. So listen, if y'all see somebody by the name of Jude start saying Mr. Michael or Mr. Calvin, I need y'all to like somehow get my attention so I can actually acknowledge because I think he moved out of state. So I could not I could not respond. And I was so pissed because when I went back to just look at the chat, he probably sent like 1,000 little messages in the chat and I missed all of them somehow. Joanne, I didn't even know if people could send me money now. Okay. Thank you, Joanne. Appreciate it. So yeah, if y'all see Jude, AR Stinger, what's up? I appreciate that shout out you gave me some months ago. Check out his channel as well. Let's see. Just in time. All right, 2 hours. What is it Nima? What work are you doing that you streaming for 2 hours? Where do you work at? I wish I had that kind of freedom. I'm not a teacher, but I run an after school program. And so I've been doing that for almost 9 years at this specific site. So like all the kids have kind of grown up with me. So now these ones that are reaching out are either off to college or in high school or life is just, come and they've either moved away. So some of them kind of discovered that I have this and they like to try to keep in touch through YouTube, even though I'm like, y'all, I like to keep the two worlds separate, but some folks are just hard-headed. Jude, like in the Bible, Jude with a D. So if y'all see him start popping up on here, y'all somehow get my attention. All right. Anyway, so let's do this. We'll start in like 1 more minute. But like I said in the community section, just start kind of posting some of the things you want us to talk about, and we can kind of jump into it. Please just don't have too much crazy stuff. I mean, we can talk about a bunch of things, but I don't want to spend the whole day talking celebrities. Nothing against celebrities. Celebrities are cool. I just don't live in the world of celebrity. So after like 20 minutes, I get kind of bored. Let's see. Yeah, it's dedication, man. This job I really thought was going to be like a 1-year deal. And then 1 year, because I was like, I'm going to do this for like 1 year and then I'm going to go to grad school. And then 1 year turned into 2 and 3. And really, because I think the kids were so great. And it was just it's a very demanding job, but I sleep good at night. You know what I mean? And so even though sometimes the money's not where I need it to be, but because there's such a tranquility that comes with the work and you build the relationships and you see the impact, especially if you've been in a field like that for more than 3 or 4 years, when you've been there for 9, you see the long-term effects. Like I got a student right now that's in a PhD program at George Mason in Virginia. Now, mind you, when I started, they were already in high school. So I think they were a junior when I came in. So they already were a little bit older, but they've always kept up. So, now I'm watching them go get their doctorate. I'm like, you way past me. Okay. I did my part. So there's that. All right, let me see. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna scroll up. By the way, please don't take offense if I don't see your comment. If there was a few folks that was a little pissed off last time, they thought I was ignoring them. I honestly just didn't see the comment. Like, especially once we get into our little pocket here, the comment section for me just goes and I can't get to every comment. So if I miss you, please don't take it the wrong way. Please don't. Yeah, by the way, I'm not that petty. I don't have to ignore anybody. We've been very transparent on here for about 8-9 years now. Who else? Oh, okay. Super chat option is available. That's what you guys are talking about. All right. See, I've been trying to get this right with this little live thing. This isn't really my lane. All right. Hello. I'm still behind. K. Wims. Wedner, I emailed you about producing an R&B album. Were you is it Wadner? Were you the one that was asking me about the New Jack Swing piece? I think I did respond. If not, I'll go back and check my email. Sometimes, guys, especially those who email me, I get a lot of emails. So sometimes some of the stuff gets lost in the shuffle. So if I didn't get to any emails, don't worry. I normally respond to all the emails. I may not get to the comments on the YouTube videos, but I always respond to the emails. So if I didn't get to your email, just give me a second. And for anybody who sent me anything in the shout out series, just know I have your emails up. They're all in my shout out folder, which actually comes out in like a week or two. Okay, everybody keeps talking about that Disney. We'll talk about Disneyland because y'all keep bringing that one up. But it's going to be like a 2-3 minute discussion because I really don't have that much to say about it. For the person never too late, when you're saying what does he do, are you asking about me or asking about somebody else? ASAP Rocky, yeah, I know people want to hear about that one too. Trump, God, it's gonna be long enough to 4 years if he wins again. HR 40 bill, yo, we should have talked about that dang hearing they had. You want to talk about some nonsense? Some of the people that were at that hearing shouldn't have been there. Okay, let's go ahead and knock this out. So what I'll do is I'll do a topic and then we'll go back to the chat and then we'll go from there because it's been 7 minutes. So first, let me just address where did I start? First, I'll start with Jermaine Dupri's. So if you didn't know, Jermaine Dupri, he's catching some flack because he's saying that pretty much all of the female rappers kind of give the same thing. They're all kind of doing the whole stripper, sexually liberated, I'm going to twerk all day, show my body, and I'm not afraid to rap about sex. And he's saying that all the female rappers, I said I'm going to stop saying the word female, all the women rappers are all the same. My response to that is if you're going to have that energy towards the women rappers, have that same energy for the male rappers who spent the last 30 years talking about the same video chicks in the same cars and the same drugs and the same blocks. And mind you, a lot of the rappers rap about these lifestyles that they don't really live anyway. So it's kind of like keep that same energy. Plus, this is the same dude. You had Janet Jackson on the Busted Baby remix. You got Janet D. Jackson singing about being a busted baby. So you can't really go in a lane of trying to be all self-righteous now. It's a little too late for that when all of your music has been pretty much the same thing, but just with a different gender in front of it. So I'm like, keep the same energy. Plus, to be honest, when hip hop was a little bit more diverse, when you did have more women rappers that gave a little bit of everything, y'all thought all of them were lesbians and you wrote them off. So y'all didn't give the Moni Loves and MC Troubles and MC Lights and Queen Latifahs as much love as you gave to other rappers. So that's why there were so many women rappers who figured, or at least the labels were like, well, you got to take some clothes off to sell some records because they don't want to see you in a kente cloth. So, I mean, that's kind of just what happens when the music industry is already kind of male chauvinistic. So it is what it is. So JD, I was kind of like, yeah. Anyway, how do we feel on that? Yeah, and because some people really do not like a lot of the new acts. Because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm like, dang, are we gonna twerk on everything all the time? But you know what? At the end of the day, art is already subjective. If that's what the people are into, if that's people's come up, that's what makes people feel good. Even if you're not into it, let folks have what makes them, work within the spaces that keep them in a space of euphoria. You know what I mean? Even, I'm learning as I get older, like music, everything's not always going to be for you. Like for me, the hardest transition I've had as an adult is I've always felt that I was already an old soul to begin with. And now I'm really in like my grandpa pocket. And so I'm still relatively young, but sometimes I don't fit in with my peers in, collective spaces. And so we'll be at like a party or something and all these songs will come on and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna pretend I know this one. All right. Oh Lord, I went to this rap concert. I ain't know none of the lyrics. And it's bad enough. I'm already bad with lyrics to begin with from people I know. But when it's like you go to like a show and you already don't really know the artist like that, you just went because your friends had you go out there. And so now you're in there just like, oh, all right, yeah, woo, this is great. All right, this sounds just like the last 4 songs. Oh no, this one has 1 piano key in it. Okay, this must be the remix. So, but yeah, I've always been really bad with lyrics. True story. Y'all remember like Let me give an example. Okay, Whitney Houston's "Shoot." All right, in the song, you know how she says like life never tells us the wins or whys, like when, why, where, how, all that. I thought for the longest she was saying like wind, like whoosh, like the wind, like the winds are wise. And I used to really try to decipher all that. Like, yo, Whitney was deep. Like she's telling you the wind is wise because it just travels around the whole world and sees everything, stuff you ain't even seen before. So sometimes you just got to listen to the wind. And somebody was like, fool, that ain't the lyric, fool. It's the winds are wise. I was like, oh, well, it makes more sense with winds and whys. So there's that. Anyway, let me see what we're talking about here. All right. What's up, Raywin Harris? Lindsay. I hope I'm saying your name right. Okay, Lindsay, post your I don't know if you can post it. She just dropped a new song. I was actually going to shout it out in my shout out series and a video. Post the link if you can in the chat. Yeah, she's been a long time subscriber. Like I think she graduated from school already. She's been following me since she started undergrad. Yes, Lauryn Hill was an exception to that. And what I think people loved about Lauryn Hill as well, as far as going back to women rappers, is that she didn't give you the conventional look that was in at the time. I would say that about Foxy Brown as well, even though she was a bit more sexualized. But you knew at the time in the music industry, there was a look that they wanted everybody to kind of have. You were either going to be a brown-skinned girl or a light-skinned girl, and you're going to have a certain grade of hair. If you didn't have that grade of hair, they were going to sew it in to make sure you looked like you had the part. But somebody like Lauryn Hill, and even Brandy, even though she's singing at a rapper, having more brown or dark-skinned girls with dreadlocks or braids, going against the conventional traditions of what the industry was doing at the time. Yes. Let's see. Scorpius Jones, Chica. I'm gonna check Chica out. Is that a rapper? Rhapsody. By the way, as I'm looking at this chat, I'm scrolling like probably 3 or 4 minutes behind you guys that are chatting live, so I'm not missing you guys. If you think I'm missing you, keep going. Maybe another issue rap regardless of male is the lifestyle matters more than sound and fame. I agree with that too. That's is it Louisa? Look, I'm a little blind at night. I can't see nothing. Luisito. He said maybe another issue with rap regardless of male or female is if the lifestyle matters more than the sound to fans that rappers want to. That's another thing. You see a lot of it is one, you see a lot of clout chasing in music now. Everything isn't even about the music anymore sometimes. And literally, if you can just get a wave going, you can have the largest fan base in the world, I swear. Lex Luthor, what's the bad news, man? We don't want nothing bad. And by the way, I just want y'all to know this is the day my dad died 4 years ago. So let's have a good day. Like, man. All right, but by the way, that's why I posted that song July 11th a few weeks ago. Somebody, let's see. Favorite female rappers, Tink, Rhapsody. I'm thinking y'all talking about the music streaming service. Crazy me. She meant that. See, all right. See, somebody understands what I was saying with the Whitney bit. Yes, I agree. I'm gonna just call you NJ. Was it Nima? Nima. Why can't I say Nima? I agree. JD tried it with that bit. Right. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people are nervous about Lil Nas X beating that Mariah record. I say look at it this way. I would like I would love for Mariah and Boyz II Men to have that record forever. But I would say even if the record does get broken, that's still an honor in itself to hold it for 20 plus years. And not only that, I think everybody has something different that works for them. But I think that song, the meaning behind it, will still resonate with people in the long run for different reasons in comparison to an Old Town Road. I have nothing against Old Town Road. It's a cool song. Like I told y'all, I enjoyed watching the climb up just because he had so much resentment from so many different groups of people. I enjoyed watching his come up. But yeah, I mean, if the record gets broken, I mean, that's why records are there kind of to get broken. But it wouldn't take away from what Boyz II Men and Mariah did with Once Weekday anyway. Plus, if we really want to get mad, the Grammys are the ones that really snubbed them anyway. Because remember that year, they didn't win anything that year. Alanis Morissette took all of Mariah's awards that year. I know everyone is hyped on Cardi and replaced Nicki and all, but honestly, Invasion of Privacy wasn't that great of an album. You know what? I'll be honest, I've never heard Invasion of Privacy all the way through. I only know the singles that they play on the radio. I will say you are seeing a wave of people trying to erase Nicki in favor of Cardi. And like I said before, they do this only with the women rappers, where there's not enough room for both. Somehow y'all... And right now you see they're kind of pushing Megan Thee Stallion right in the mix to kind of mix her in the drama too. It's like there's not enough space for more than one woman rapper, but they'll pit them all against each other. All right, what I want to do is okay. Diamond, Alexis, Paul, you're asking about the books. For the books, the hardest thing is like what I wanted to do was I was just gonna make a one straight video about the books, but the books keep changing. And so what I could say is just in all of my your questions, my answers videos from I think episode 4 onward, I talk about some of the books. And in the video that I did on Daniel Caesar, when I was talking about him and the Yes Jules lady, I put in the description the list of every book that I referenced in that video. And that was pretty much like I think most of the books on that shelf over there. So definitely check that out. I wanted to just post the whole list in the community section, but I didn't realize the community section, I guess it archives and erases after maybe 8 posts. So it would be cool for you guys, but any new subscribers that come in like the next month or two, they won't be able to see the post. All right, let's keep going. I Want to Be Down remix. Yes, check out the No Name rapper. All right, Arlington, you just down the street. Wait, is this Arlington, Texas or Arlington, Virginia? That's Chianti Kite. I hope I'm saying these names right. All right. I said Tierra Whack. I don't know who that is. Unless you're talking about Tierra Marie. Hello, Malachi. I'm scrolling down a little bit. I'm trying to get to the bottom so I can get to the next topic. No, this shirt is staying on. Sorry. Look, I've been going to the gym a little bit, but we're not there. We ain't there. All right. You want to look at the album cover. I gave y'all just a piece of chest on the album cover. That's all you get. All right. Anyway, let me go to the next thing. Some folks were asking a lot about Sudan because I never got the chance to really talk about Sudan. So I'll spend like 3 minutes on Sudan really quick. So if you didn't know, a lot of people on social media have been, you may notice that I was about to say their avatar aviator, but the little Avi or the icon on their social media handles like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you might see like the light blue circle. That's just supposed to show, being in solidarity with the people of Sudan. So here's some backstory. Sudan is a very unique country because they've had so many changes in leadership over the years. Right now, that's what the people are riling up against. They recently pushed out Bashir, who was the last, you could say, dictator. He came in '89 after they pushed out this other guy, Muhammad. No, it's not Muhammad. Somebody. I forgot the guy's name. Sadiq al-Mana, something like that. Anyway, he came in. But long story short, Sudan has a unique history because one, if we just go back to, let's just go back to like the 1950s, because that's when many of the countries on the continent of Africa started getting independence. 1952, there was an Egyptian revolution. Now, this is important because at the time, Sudan, when it comes to Sudan, Egypt had sovereignty over Sudan. In addition to that, the UK was still colonizing the region as well. So the UK had their hands all over what Sudan was doing, and so did Egypt. And so they have this revolution because Egypt at the same time was tired of the UK kind of telling them what to do. So the relationship at the time would have been like, if you were 6 years old, you're Sudan, Egypt would have been your babysitter, and the UK would have been your parents. And so the babysitter, I guess, felt like they weren't getting paid enough. So they're like, we want out. So they kind of dissolved their relationship with the UK. But at the same time, the deal that they had with how to manage Sudan at that time, it was all interconnected. Like it was an interdependent relationship. And so in order for Egypt to have their own financial financial standing, because at the time, Sudan was not one of the wealthier countries. It was actually a country that was kind of, the economy was crashing. Egypt didn't have the infrastructure and the wealth to maintain something like Sudan on their own without the support of the UK. And so it was all kind of intertwined. But anyway, let me fast forward because I'm going way too far back. But they have this revolution. The revolution happens. The end result was within Egypt, it was the end of the Muhammad Ali dynasty, and not Muhammad Ali the boxer, but there was another guy named Muhammad Ali Pasha. And so he's from the Ottoman Empire. He was from, I want to say, the late 1700s. He was actually a Turkish guy. And so remember, Egypt at this point, they had been snatched up and colonized by so many people back in the day. And so going back during this time period, way back when, the Ottoman Empire had taken over Egypt. So Muhammad Ali Pasha pretty much fought to get that taken out of the way. So once that happened in 1805, then you had the Muhammad Ali dynasty, and that pretty much ran Egypt until the end of the Egyptian revolution. So the revolution pushed out the dynasty, pushed out the UK. And so what that did with Sudan is Sudan starts getting their own like leeway, because eventually the UK is like, well, if y'all gonna leave, we out too, because we don't feel like taking care of them either. So Sudan ends up in its own space. What happens is the UK kind of puts in this other leader who's supposed to kind of keep keep like the same political energy that the UK wanted them to have in Sudan, so the people in Sudan didn't start trying to pop off. Mainly because a lot of other countries, they were discovering that there were so many riches on the continent. And in 1978, they would soon discover that Sudan had oil, especially in the central and southern portions of the country. And so Britain still wanted to kind of have that hold on Sudan because, I mean, on the continent, they had found cobalt and titanium and zinc and gold and oil and diamonds and silver and all copper, like the cocoa, all kind of stuff. So they didn't want to just let go of Sudan because they're like, there's so much we haven't discovered yet. But anyway, we fast forward. They put in this new guy, the new guy. Oh, Jesus, what is his name? I think I wrote it down here. Let me see. I don't know, hell, they put somebody new in. By 1971, they have another coup. Like pretty much what the people of Sudan have been doing is every time there's like a dictator that's in there, the people uprise, they push out whoever the dictator is. The people who led the charge against the dictator usually would be military officials or like a revolutionary, like rebel army. And then the people are free, like, yeah, all right, we got our freedom, what's up, let's get it. And then the people who were in that army were like, actually, nah, that's cool, yeah, y'all are kind of free, but we're gonna be in charge now. And so for like literally 3 cycles in a row, you'd have the coup where people push people out, especially in 71 and 72. Like there was a coup where, you know, they pushed out the government, some new people take over, that got ripped apart, and then everything went back the way it was like a year later. Then you had the coup again in 89. Then you had the coup again, which is what happened in 2019. And so in April, you saw them push out Bashir. And now today, the military folks who pushed out Bashir now want to be in charge of the government. And that's why the people are fighting. And the people are really fighting because they're like, you know what? Every single time we go out of our way to try to get our own freedom, we end up getting kind of sidetracked. And there's people who manipulate us and have us thinking we're going to be this unified country and have our own movement and let's get it. And then they try to take over and they're obsessed with power. And then before you know it, our rights are taken away and everything else like that. And if you've seen it, they've been shooting and killing their own people. And the interesting thing about what's happening in Sudan is it's very similar to some of the things that even happen here in the United States, maybe with a little less bloodshed. But when you see the policies that some of these people in Congress are signing and striking off on and what some of these judges are signing, it's the same kind of corruption. And I think that goes back to when we talk about when you colonize a country and you just draw a border and make people want to live in the same space. Because we talked about the Berlin Conference of 1884. That's when you had the scramble for Africa and all these countries just started picking folks. So, you know, the Congo's like, I'm going to take, or the Belgium's like, I'm going to take the Congo. Britain's like, we're going to take Ghana and all these portions over here. We're going to take some of South Africa. You know, Portugal, you can have, that can go to Angola. You know, Italy, unfortunately, y'all can't fight. So Ethiopia didn't work out for y'all. But y'all can get Senegal, you know, and so you have all that going. But when you just draw a border with people who are from all kind of backgrounds and expect them to live under the same government, you have issues, because that's why in 2011 you saw Sudan split into 2 countries, because Sudan's unique because it has 600 different ethnic. Is it 600 ethnic groups? I want to say it's 600. Let me make sure. I think I wrote this on something. Did I write on anything? I did not write it on anything, but okay. I want to say it's 600 ethnic groups and 400 different languages that are, it's 600 different ethnic groups and 400 different languages that are spoken in, you know, when you talk about North and South, or Sudan and South Sudan before it's split. And so when you put that many kind of, you know, groups of people together and then expect them to live under the same government, and you had the divides amongst religion, because in the North was a little bit more Muslim, in the South was a bit more Christian, and then you put all of that together, it can be chaotic. And like I said, it's so similar to the United States. That's why people in the U.S. don't get along. You got 330 million people together, and everybody sees the world so differently, but we're supposed to all operate under the same government. And so it is what it is. Anyway, let's check in with you guys. Where are we at here? I do want to get to this reparations talk as well, too. Daniel Caesar. Look, I ain't even seen that album. No comment. I'm gonna scroll. Who are we talking about? Y'all just give me some look. I appreciate you, Corvette Shrell, for the $2. By the way, like I said, y'all don't have to give me money. I'm good, but I won't turn it down. Anything y'all give me, I'm just gonna end up probably using at work with the kids anyway. But thank you. If you really want to support me, just stream my album. Follow me on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all of that. But yes, I appreciate anything that you guys support me with. We're gonna keep moving a little bit. Hello, everybody who just joined. Let's see, what are we talking? All right, okay. Let's move on. So that's Sudan. As far as the reparations conversation, because I do want to jump into that. I don't know if you guys saw the, so there's a bill called HR 40 that's kind of been circulating for, I want to say almost 2-3 decades. And it's the reparations bill. It's just talking about, of course, giving Black Americans who pretty much have a lineage that ties to slavery, sharecropping, Jim Crow, all of that, pretty much saying that because of the atrocities that the United States has done to this group of people, they're owed something. And so that's pretty much the origins of that bill. So finally they had a hearing about it. But it was kind of, to me, I felt like it was a setup because a lot of the people who were on the panels that were talking had no business being there. The only two people I could probably rock with were like Ta-Nehisi Coates, and there was a woman that was there. I totally forgot her name. But I mean, you had people up there talking who really, you just recognize that they don't know what they're talking about. Two, they don't have the research. Three, we sometimes give celebrities too much power, and we allow celebrities to speak on issues that they may not always be privy to. And that's not an attack on Danny Glover, because I think he was there as well. I'll give him his lane because he's been doing humanitarian work globally for decades. But when you looked at what many in the GOP did, who are mainly the party that opposed it, they pretty much put some people who just were in black skin but had the most anti-black views. I don't remember this dude's name, but it was this dude who I want to say he's Puerto Rican, but he looked black, Afro Latino. And there was this line he had where he says this whole thing about, well, I'm against reparations because it's saying like, black people are victims and I am not a victim. I'm like, okay, well, listen, if they ever decide to give folks what is deserved and they give a check, you just make sure you don't get in line then, okay? You be victimless over there. Because I hate that we use the term victim as a weapon. Here's the thing with reparations. And I'm glad that the conversations are finally starting. But when you're talking about reparations, some people think it's a handout or people think it's just a cop-out check. And I'm like, you forget that you had an entire demographic of people working for free for 100 plus years, 150 plus years, that builds literally the economy of the greatest power in the world at the moment. Like, all of the wealth that's in this country is rooted in slave money. Is rooted, and even when slavery ended and it just shifted into sharecropping, same thing. That's literally what has built and created the foundation for our economy. And so people were never compensated for that. And to be honest, if the United States would have done right by black people initially when slavery ended and given people their 40 acres and a mule, because they did give some people it, but then they took it back and were like, actually, we changed our minds because the people whose land we took. Because here's the thing, when they went and they started giving some of the 40 acres and a mule, what they did was they went to places that were already developed and took it from the white folks that were there. And then those people went and sued, and the government was like, okay, maybe we did too much. So, all right, you can have your land back. And so the few 40 acres that they gave, they snatched back. They never gave the mules. But again, if the United States would have just done right by black folks then, we wouldn't be in a position we're in now as far as a country, because now the check is too big to write. Like, if you are to take into account how much is really owed when you talk about generational accumulation, residual wealth, just the buildup of everything from 1619 onward. I mean, we could really start at 1536, but we'll start at 1619 onward. I mean, it's in the trillions, and it's like, where's that check coming from? And that's why you have so many people against it right now, it's an interesting conversation. We'll do a separate video on it with a little bit more tangible arguments in it. But I mean, we've kind of had these discussions a million times on this channel when we talk about, because it's not just slavery, it's everything up and after slavery. Because even when the people got out, it's like, okay, not only are y'all gonna be free, but we're gonna make it hard for y'all to be free. So we're gonna give you fugitives, the black codes, we're gonna give you this, and it's gonna be the chain gang. And of course, we talked about the housing discrimination and the limits and the lapses when it comes to education and opportunity and resources and so on and so on and so on. It just goes and goes. It's this complicated web that just, you'd be like, dang. Like, and I always tell people who really spend a lot of time like researching all this, sometimes you have to take mental breaks, because you literally go crazy, reading how many, just when you read the things that have happened to us, you'd be like, really? Like, I got a good friend who always sends me a text every time she finds a new documentary that she wants me to watch. And I'm like, look, I got to take a break, man. My head hurts. Anyway, let's check in. Where are we? Yes, they cannot afford the interest alone. K Wins, you were absolutely right on that one. Where are we at? Dang, y'all are typing so fast. By the time I get to all these comments, folks, let's see. So we're gonna move on. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, y'all said that Disneyland bit. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me keep scrolling and seeing what we're talking about. Yes, that guy that was the one that was supposed to speak on why he was against reparations was definitely a puppet. I agree. Who said that? Yes, Bashir Theo. That's exactly who it was for the Sudan conversation. Chester Hill Youth Choir anniversary. Okay, you better okay, shout out to Chester Hill Youth Choir anniversary, Sunday, July 28th, Chester Hill Missionary Baptist Church, Georgetown, South Carolina, for those who are in that region. Go ahead and check it out. Go see the children sing. I told you them years my mom used to make me be in the kids choir. Let's see. Miss Ray Ray. Yes, we talked about the books a little bit earlier. Like I said, if you check out my Your Questions, My Answers videos from like episode 4 onward, I talk about all the books, and the Daniel Caesar video I have in the description has a list of all the books. Eventually I'll do another video where I talk about the books I've read. Um, I am good. Was it Ruse Biden? I be messing up these names, man. I'm good though. Are you still doing your podcast? That is a wonderful question. Okay, so here's the deal with the podcast. Um, the podcast I love, but the podcast takes the most work because I have to literally go back into my childhood and relive things and kind of remember the details in order to make, the podcast good. It's coming back. I was actually working on an episode during the past weekend, and then I got a little sidetracked with some other things. So the podcast is still here. It takes a little bit of time, and then because at the same time I had to get the album done. Like my album was supposed to come out in November and it came out in May. And so when about March hit, and I was like, you know what? And I remember the first live we did, I had said it was going to come out in April. And even then I was like, I'm not even close to my deadline. So something had to kind of take a back seat, and it was a podcast, only because the podcast at the moment has the least traction out of everything I'm doing. Even though I love the podcast. So the podcast will be back. It's just on a little tiny little break. Plus I'm getting ready to kind of change the format of how I do it too. I love the art of storytelling, but I do want to kind of jump into a few additional things. It'll still be comedic, it'll still be funny. But I do want to kind of shift it up a little bit just to shape shift a bit. Let's see where we're going. Who's Robbie? Robbie is blocked. Y'all must be fighting. Okay. I don't even know who's fighting, but whatever. Anyway, y'all fight in the comment section. Just don't bring that energy to me. Where are we at? Oh, yes, Serena Williams. We need her to win. Here's my goal with Serena. I want Serena to win this thing because I know she's trying to tie the record of the other woman. I need her to just break the record, and then I would like for her to retire on top and then mentor the ones that are coming up. Like, finish while you're on top. Because it's going to start getting it's hard watching people starting to get older, and I'm starting to see her age. Not age as in not be good, but just she's having to work twice as hard to do some of the things that was a little bit easier for her to do in her younger years. But to give it to her, she's done so much. Like, I think the accolades that she's reached, I don't think there's anybody that's going to ever get to that. Like, Serena is, because if you go back, remember it was Venus that was the say all be all, and you just saw Serena come and just clean house. Like, Serena's legend, Venus as well. But I'm rooting for them. And even that Coco girl, I hope she ends up becoming something. And it's good because she's only 15, so she has so much life ahead of her. Let's see. Am I going to tour for my album? Look, I ain't get that. I don't have fans like that. Look, all of you guys rock with me for YouTube. Y'all don't be checking for my music like that, but it's okay. I love y'all anyway. Not tour, because one, I'm an unsigned artist. Like, to be honest, I just do music because I like music. Like, I just like to do stuff that makes people feel good. Touring, not now. If I went and tried to book out a theater, ain't nobody going to that. It'd be like 8 people in the audience. But I'll do like an open mic night here and there or something. But touring, unless I get some kind of production deal or something, and I have somebody backing, like, touring's expensive because you gotta, like, I'll let you guys in. Like, I'm working on a music video for the song "It Played Us," and yeah, you're talking about getting a director. I could just direct it and shoot it myself, but I want to get somebody who really, really knows what they're doing. And then you got to pay the dancers, you got to pay the venue that you want to use. Like, and that's just for one music video. So when you're talking about touring and you have to get a band or a DJ, but I think for my kind of stuff, I'd rather have a band DJ mix, where it's like maybe a 3-4 piece band and a DJ. Like, all that stuff is expensive. And I don't bring in the revenue for that yet. So we'll hold off on touring. Where are we? All right, Serena, Jay Paris, what's up? I appreciate it. L. Johnson, yes. 1908, yes. Appreciate it. Do I think that African Americans will receive reparations? The scary thing about a conversation on reparations is that the choice and the decision of reparations is literally in the hands of white folks. So I don't know. I think we have every right to fight for it, but with the government that's in power right now, no, they're not giving us that. Absolutely not. They don't want to hear it. You see how Mitch McConnell was like, well, look, Obama, we got the same relative, so his folks own slaves too, and he became president. So, that's the sad aspect. Who knows? I do think the conversation, as long as you keep that conversation on the table, that's one bit. But I do think Black people as a collective have to start recognizing that our voting power does carry weight. We have to start holding politicians a little bit more accountable, because a lot of them, what they will do is, they'll give us the red carpet rollout in election season, and they'll do the stops at the churches, and they'll go up there and sing a hymn or two, and they'll go to the inner city school and I don't know, do the toe op with the kids at the school, and they'll visit the HBCU, and they'll go to the Black Panther movie premiere and all of that. And then election day, after we voted, we don't see them until it's time for election again, which and you've seen that on both sides. I tend to vote as a Democrat, but I'm not a blind Democrat because I be seeing through a lot of the stuff that they're doing. I'm just not foolish enough to hop on the Republican side. I can't do it. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we definitely have to hold people to the fire. I don't think we've ever done that before, which is why both sides kind of take advantage of us. The Democrats just already know we're going to vote for them. Republicans really just don't care. They know we're not even pressed, so they're like, "Go to hell with them anyway." So you get it that way. And then the sad part is when you have all of the independent and Green Party acts, some of them have some okay policy, but you just know that they don't have the backing. Hold on one second. This is my mother calling. Hello? Oh, I'm actually streaming live. So can I call you back? Are you going to bed? I know I gave the phone number. Oh, I didn't know she had that. Okay, yeah, she reached out to me last week. All right. That's my mama. I'm still a mama's boy. She done moved to Atlanta and got all big and rich and stuff. So anyway, all right. Where are we at, folks? iStream, Spotify. Yes, I appreciate those of you who listen to my music. I know y'all are listening. I'm seeing it when I look at the trending, the sales and the numbers. So y'all are actually, it's getting a lot more support than my first album. So I appreciate it. Let's see where we at. That's a funny question. Nan Nelson, what's that? People who learned that they were black 10 minutes ago will want it. That's the other thing. I'll say this, which was another question somebody had, because you're seeing a lot of folks who are anti like reparations, who share the same skin, but the lineage is not the same. And so a lot of folks are saying, "Oh, y'all just asking for handouts, this, that, and the third." I guarantee you, no disrespect, but let them start writing checks. It's gonna be all kind of folks trying to tie some lineage to who was a slave back in the day. Everybody's gonna be trying to get a check. You're gonna see white folks in line talking about their great aunts, uncles, second cousins, best friends, sisters, neighbor was a slave. Everybody getting checked. Everybody. Anyway. ASAP. Yeah, let's talk about that. So ASAP Rocky. He was in Sweden. Apparently, he was being harassed by some guy out there, and they end up in this fight. Of course, he beats the dude up, and so now he's in jail. We're not really getting the details on what's going to happen as far as the charges and how long he's going to be in there, but he's been in there for like a week and a half because the video of him swinging and throwing that guy in the street went viral. And that is a cautionary tale, especially as like a black person. When you go overseas, don't think much has changed. It's the same kind of nonsense you're going to deal with when you're talking about a judicial system. And when you're somebody who's a celebrity or you're somebody who's a public figure and you carry influence and you go into another country and commit any kind of crime, they love to make an example out of you. But in response to, because I know a lot of people have been talking about, they don't appreciate the statements he made in reference to like Ferguson and all that. He pretty much, I don't have the quote. Maybe I'll pull up the quote so I can get it verbatim because I don't want to put words in the man's mouth if he didn't say it. He said, let's see. What did he say here? Do I got it? Do I have the quote? Where's it at? Okay, this is a whole article. We're not about to read all this. Come on, ASAP, where you at? All right, so yeah, Black Twitter got a hold of him and would not let go, huh? They said, where's it at, man? Okay, here we go. Found it. Somebody got it. So this was on Twitter. This was a quote he had back in like 2014, 2015. He said, because they questioned or they asked him, "Do you feel like you're being forced to address these issues?" And that was in relation to just police brutality, black everything, all that. He said, "They're not forcing me to do ish. I'm just gonna stay black and die." He must have been watching Lean on Me that day. I ain't gotta do nothing but stay black and die. Why? Because I'm black. So every time something happens because I'm black, I gotta stand up. What the F am I? Al Sharpton now? I'm ASAP Rocky. I did not sign up to be no political activist. I want to talk about my MF and lean, my best friend dying, the girls that come in and out of my life, the jiggy fashion I wear, my new inspirations in drugs. Okay. I don't want to talk about no effing Ferguson and ish because I don't live over there. I live in effing Soho and Beverly Hills. I can't relate. I'm in the studio. I'm in these fashion studios. I'm in these Oh, bees draws. Y'all know what bees I'm talking about. Um, I'm not doing anything outside of that, and so on and so on. And so, and then there's some other statements he's made. So a lot of people were like, well, you know what? I don't know what y'all going to bat for him for, because listen, he want to be all anti-black, and he got it. Let his friends from Soho and Beverly Hills get him out of jail. I was like, dang, y'all don't be playing. I'll say this: some folks just got to learn the hard way. And even with that, ASAP, and I don't align with him at all on any of that, but I will say his viewpoints, oh God, they're like the end result of a larger origin. And I say that all the time. The way he sees things is because he hasn't been educated on anything. And a lot of times you see, especially like black folks, you see a lot of us, we come into money or we come into success as far as a 9 to 5 or career, and we think all of a sudden that makes us exempt from being a part of how the black community is treated as a collective. And so he's learning that the hard way, because now he's being reminded of who he is. And I can guarantee you when he gets out, he's going to come out, either he's going to do two things. He's going to pull a Meek Mill and be community activist, ready to fight for judicial this, that, and the third. Or he's going to come out even more cocky and more defiant and just say the hell with everybody. But I do think, to be fair, I think both arguments are valid on both sides. I understand why people would be like, no, we're not going to bat for him, because he pretty much punched us in the face when we needed a voice. You know, when people were being naysayers and saying, you know, Mike Brown deserved to die, Eric Garner deserved to die, Philando Castile deserved to die, Terrence Crutcher, that's on them. That ain't got nothing to do with me. It's kind of like, okay, if that was the energy you had, we're not putting our energy into getting you out of jail. But on the other side, I understand why some people would say, at the end of the day, it's still that bubble of white supremacy. Even if he drank the juice, he's still a victim to that system. So it kind of just depends on where you stand on it. I don't want to see anybody sit in jail unnecessarily, because it looks like the dude was harassing him anyway. For me, it looked more like a self-defense that turned into an offense, where you're trying to get somebody up off you, but then you start winning, and now all of a sudden you look like the aggressor. And so it's like, dang. But again, with celebrities, I never give celebrities too much anyway, because I don't have expectations from probably 90% of them. You know, they'll show you where they stand every time. And a lot of them, that money just gets in the way. They don't care about nothing. You can just watch and see who they align with, who they run with, who they associate with, the events that they go to, you know, what causes they stand for, and senses. So now, like, Jay-Z is kind of on this I haven't figured out life tip. But remember, a few years back, you know, when Harry Belafonte kind of called him and be out, like, you know, y'all carry all this influence, but y'all ain't doing nothing. And Jay-Z's response was, well, my presence is charity. I'm like, ooh, ouch. But now you've seen the flip side. Now you see, you know, they're paying people's bail and bond, and they're doing a lot of stuff under the radar without even the necessary publicity. You know, they're doing it under the table, because I don't really think they're doing a lot of the stuff they're doing for clout. So, you know, we'll see. But with ASAP, I hope he's learned a lesson. Like, and it's disappointing because you see so many people doing that. Remember I did a video addressing Lil Wayne with the same thing, and I think that's why, I got annoyed the other day. Like, I'm horrible with in the comments on my schedule gets like crazier and crazier. I really don't have the same amount of free time I once did, which is why sometimes you see a lapse in the videos too. But somebody made this comment, and normally I don't really get my feelings over comments, but somebody was pissed because they were mad because I didn't talk about Chris Brown, and they were like, "You woke Negroes, y'all don't care about black women. You only talk about stuff that makes y'all get elevated." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, have you ever watched my channel? Because clearly, probably 70% of the videos I have are in favor of black women. Like, what are you talking about? God, where did that come from? That's why I was so annoyed, because she said that. I'm like, have you looked at the videos? Because we've addressed Michael Rappaport and the crazy stuff he be saying about black women. We've addressed Lil Wayne. We've addressed Daniel Caesar. We've addressed, who else have we addressed? It's a bunch of folks with Paris Denard. I done had a whole bunch of You Tried It videos. So I was like, what are you talking about? That's YouTube. You got to always remind yourself not to look at the comments sometimes. Anyway. And yeah, some people say you should just block them, but I don't like folks to I don't know if when they get blocked, if they still see the videos or not. I want them to see my message, because ain't nothing changed with what I said. You need to get the message, because some folks come to their senses later down the line anyway. Do you feel exhausted that, hold on, this looks like a good question. This is Shaquana. Do you feel exhausted that our black films seem centered in our struggles? Do you think there's a space for quality? Man, listen, let me finish the question. Do you think there's a space for quality work that is pure enjoyment? You know, this is the issue, and this goes back to even with the Little Mermaid bit that I wish I would have said in the video. And we've kind of talked about this. I did the Steve Harvey and Monique video talking about ownership in Hollywood. Until we own a bit more in Hollywood, as far as production companies and mainly distribution companies, and not just any distribution company, but larger ones, we're always going to be in a position where we don't get to always call the shots in what we want with film, because they're going to always tell us the only things that can sell is the struggle film, the drug kingpin film, the slave narrative, the scorned black woman who has the ain't-ish black man, and then she marries the lighter skinned man or white man, and she's happily ever after. Or they get to be the meddlesome neighbor or the mammy. That's always been Hollywood, unfortunately. And so until we can get in a position where we start owning things, it's going to be that way. It's either that or we start boycotting. But we suck at boycotting as a collective. The NFL. I don't know what happened. I was like, yeah, look, I guess. But like, and I'll even share my own experience. So on the side, what I've been doing for the last 2-3 years, I've been doing a lot of screenwriting. Like, if you remember, I had a web series called Generation Black. So I had that. But in addition to that, I've just been screenwriting. I wrote a couple movies, sitcoms, and I've been trying to sell them things for years. But of course, because the imaging that's in them is not what Hollywood wants, I don't know if they'll ever get purchased or if they'll ever have an opportunity to see the light of day. Some people are like, why don't you just, do it yourself and put it out there? That's an option, but it is what it is. All right, let's go. Where are we at? What else are we talking about, folks? Slave narrative. Oh yeah, the slave narrative is, and then the thing with those narratives and a lot of the films, even when they tell these narratives, there's always alterations to make the films fit a certain narrative, which I think is some crap. All right, let's shift that. What else do we want to talk about? Let me look on my little phone here, because y'all put some comments in my what is it, in the community page. So let's see what you guys also requested while we're at it. Oh, somebody just added a comment literally just now. Yes, I agree, Lamont. Boycotting just for personal things. Yes, I agree. We're not the gatekeepers in Hollywood at all. Exactly. Definitely. I see I lost some folks after I started talking about women, huh? So I see some folks a little too deep. Only pro black men, huh? Okay. Anyway, you guys asked, where are we at? We did Sudan. Oh, we said we didn't do Disneyland. Okay, so Disneyland. I don't even know the origin of what that was about. That's kind of crazy, but I wish as a society we didn't always pull the cameras out on everything. Yeah, we're in a position where now anytime something goes down, the first thing we do is pull a camera out. I'm like, what are y'all doing every time? And true story, I'm not gonna lie, like when I saw the Disneyland clip, it just kind of took me back to childhood, because look, I had a relative that got in a fight at Magic Mountain when I was little. This guy grabbed her butt, and she was like, I try that again and watch what happens. And so he started talking all this trash. My aunt beat the dude up at Magic Mountain, and then she got arrested. And me and my cousin, we had to sit in like the security little box. And then my grandma, who's no longer living, my other one, had to come all the way from where she was at to come pick us up. Oh, it was a mess. It was a mess. But no, when I see clips like that, I just see other things. I just think collectively we're a hurt people sometimes. And so sometimes we have so much rage and just so much hurt in us that the smallest thing gets us triggered, and it gets us to a place where we're just ready to like stump somebody out over any and everything. But with that, what was disturbing is just watching, you would think when there's kids around, especially if it's your kids and your grandkids, and you're trying to take your kids to Disneyland or wherever, and y'all in front of Goofy House and everything, and you would think people would be able to kind of just hold off for the sake of who they're with. Like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I take the kids I work with out in public places, somebody might say something out of pocket and I'm ready to punch somebody in the back of the face, but I can't. One, because I'm at work. Two, because if I have these kids all of these values about life and how to do this and do that, and then I do the opposite, it's like, you're full of crap, Mr. Michael. So, there's that. And then nobody was breaking it up. Like, everybody's just watching and getting it. I'm like, yo, okay. I mean, goodness. I don't know. Anyway, what else are we at? Oh, a good question. Somebody was asking me I'll talk about music for a quick second. Somebody was asking about New Edition. Like, why can't they like get it together? They break up all the time. I just think it comes with age, and I think it comes with the fact that at this point, with a lot of acts like an SWV or New Edition or a lot of the groups that were out back in the day, at this point, they've been out of their prime longer than they've been in their prime. And at this point, they've had whole lives, and in vogue as well, because the 4/5 of them fight every 2 weeks, and one day it's Cindy, Don, Terry, and Max, and then Don quits, and then Max quits, and they bring Rona back in, and then there's that Amanda go they'll bring in sometimes. They got all kind of stuff. You end up getting your own life. You end up getting your own identity outside of those celebrity years. So when they do the reunions and all, it's cool for the nostalgia for the fans, but a lot of times they just are in a space where they don't even miss that. They don't miss that lifestyle. It brings back old memories of times that weren't as good. It brings back memories of when the drugs used to be cracking and jumping in. Everybody wasn't doing drugs, but it's just there's a lot of memories and stuff that comes out. That's why, like, I think even with like something like Escape, you see Candy's not pressed to really be in a group like that. She'll do a spot date here or there, but she no longer wants to do any of that because she's built her own brand. So I see that. Somebody was asking me, even with my own music, how do I like make my own songs? I'm gonna do a separate video talking about how I made the album in a little bit, not today, but like to just show how I made the songs. But pretty much what I normally do is I normally just already have a melody in my head and I'll put it to music. And so I usually make all the music first. And then I kind of hum a medley. Like if you look at my phone, like right now, hold on, I'll pull it up real quick. I'm not gonna play it though, because it's gonna sound a hot mess. In my phone, there's like, I don't know if you can see, it's not focusing, but either, damn, too bright. Hold on, let me see if I can do this here. Shoot, still don't work. Anyway, but in my phone, there's like hundreds of just like 30-second clips of me like humming or like humming a medley or something like that. And so once I have the medley in my head, I'll go ahead and start writing lyrics to the melody. And then I go from there and kind of piece the songs together, which is kind of cool. Let's see. Y'all in here having some whole arguments in this section. What do I think about the ADOS movement? I will say I like that they're bringing out the tangible arguments. I would just hope that that's where they kind of stay focused on when it comes to asking what they want, keeping the arguments and keeping the statements and the viewpoints based on the tangible evidence of the oppressions that have happened to Black people as a collective, and using that to gain traction. You have a few people who've joined that movement who I think there's a lot of people in the world who are just mad about a lot of things, but because they've never done the research or they've never taken the time to kind of dig deeper, they have all of this energy. They don't know what to do with it. And so they end up using it the wrong way. But I do think like with ADOS, I like that they're challenging the status quo at the moment. But I do think they'll have to kind of center and make sure they have the right people speaking on their behalf. So there's that. Where's that? And some people were asking, am I against them? And I know I'm not against. Look, anybody who is pro this and trying to get us forward, I'm down with. So there's that. Christine, thank you. Who y'all talking about? Chris Brown, I see woman beater on here. What y'all talking about? Do you think that they're being used to have Trump reelected? You know what I really think? I don't think they are, but I do think people are latching onto their arguments because right now they're heavily critical of the Democratic Party or the Democrat Party. And I think that's mainly because it goes back to what I said earlier with how sometimes the Democrat Party, unfortunately, they do kind of just use us on occasion. I do think we're safer voting with them than we are with the other side in most instances, but you do have people who are latching onto that and using that against us. So, something like, remember when Donald Trump did the speech and he was like, African Americans, what do you have to lose? You have the lowest this, the lowest that, the lowest this, the lowest that. I mean, literally, if you look at the argument that he was making, that's some of the same statements that you see in a lot of, people who are public speakers who speak on that issue. But the difference is they're speaking on it from a place of concern and wanting better. Homeboy on the other end, who's in office right now, he was doing that because he just needed some votes. He could give 2 F words about us, and he's shown us that. So it's like, I wish people would be careful with, you can be critical of whoever's in power, but don't take the bait, and fall for people who have never had your best interest in mind. And I'm not saying the other side does. I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, you got to do your own research and find what works for you. Anyway, because right now you keep hearing this whole lesser, and somebody just said lesser 2 evils bit, and like, why do you got to vote for evil? You know what I mean? If they both crappy, you hold fire to defeat. That's why some people think I'm like, folks got mad because I went in on Bill Clinton and Hillary right before the election over something I didn't like that they did. And so people thought, oh, you're dividing this and you're trying to get us to go Republican. I'm like, I know y'all don't think my fool behind is aligned with no Republican. I'm just saying, if you're going to try to constantly speak on behalf of a group, then you need to make sure you understand what it is that they're asking for. And our needs always get sidetracked every single time. And the conversation always becomes, it's not the right time. In due time, your time is coming. And so now we fast forward 200-300 years, our time is still coming. So that's the argument. Anyway, let's move on. Who are y'all over here fighting with? I'm missing all of the little chat in here. Y'all in here going off. Told y'all it's gonna be a nice day. We ain't cutting up on my daddy's little, I guess, death anniversary. That ain't really an anniversary. Where are we at? So some other things you guys asked me about. Diddy remaking the band. Do you guys remember that show, like Making a Band on MTV? Where first it started with Lou Pearlman, and he made that pop group O Town. I don't know if y'all remember them. It was like kind of like another NSYNC. They look, I dream about a girl who's a mix of Destiny's Child. Like I remember it because it was kind of like my middle school years. It was them, and then it was the band with like Babs and Ness and Fred and Choppa, Sarah. I'm missing somebody. It was 6 of them, but it was the band, and then it was Danny D. Kane. I liked Making a Band. I thought that was a brilliant show. I thought it was a great idea because it showed audiences just the behind the scenes of how to make it in music if you have the right support. The issue I have is I've never seen Diddy as a great businessman when it came to music. Literally everybody who signed to Diddy has a sob story and they're no longer here. Or if they're here, it's like they're no longer under Diddy. I think he always had a gift for A&R, and he had a gift for knowing what was hot. But I sometimes I wish he would have let other people come in and help to kind of mold some of these acts to have more longevity. A lot of the acts who were hot under his labels, they would be hot for an album and a half, and then we never saw them. And then what I didn't like with Making the Band when Diddy had it, even though I love the show, his ego was in the way all the time. So with the band, he pretty much just broke them up because he ain't like how they work together. He was like, I'm done with it. Mind you, their album went like 1.5 million copies. He was like, that wasn't enough. Y'all ain't do enough. And I'm like, but you only released 2 singles. So what did you think they were supposed to sell? 1.5 million copies for 2 singles isn't bad at all for a group that nobody's heard of. And then with Danny D. Kane, the girls are butting heads and fighting. He's like, well, Aubrey, you're out of the group. And then D Woods was like, what? Oh, if you don't like it, you can get out the group too. And so you ruin, your biggest act all for ego. So if you're gonna bring back Making a Band, some of the ego gotta chill. But I used to love that show. I thought Lorianne Gibson was hilarious on that show. All right, where we at? Did I see Janet said at Glastonbury? I did watch it a little bit. I didn't see the whole thing. I didn't know, to be honest, I didn't really want her to go on Glastonbury because I already knew what kind of audience was going to be there. Like, if you don't know, Glastonbury is like a big, by the way, I know I'm talking fast, so let me slow down. Glastonbury is this big, giant music fest in the UK, and it's usually for like rock heads and rock purists. And I just think for some festivals, there's certain acts that just don't need to go there because the audience is just always going to give them a hard time. So they gave Janet hell on earth at that show. I mean, they were ripping her apart. And so I thought the show was I thought it was terrible or something. So when I went to watch it, I was like, what was the problem? I was like, they just kind of fickle. They already don't like her like that over there, like the rock heads. They never really respected her anyway. And hell, they don't even really respect Michael like that. So Janet was already for them just like, what is she doing there? They didn't like her to begin with. So there's that. What else are we talking about, folks? Somebody remembered Old Town. Haha. Where are we at? Somebody said sleep. I don't know what we're sleeping on, but okay. Oh yeah, Day 26. I forgot about them too with Making a Band. Thank you for reminding me of that. I forgot. They had great. That's like one of the last R&B male groups that had like vocals. We haven't seen that in a long time. Making a Band. What else are we talking about, folks? Why are you so focused on the band's progression when you're not even on the band? Wait, are you asking? Is that for me? I don't know if they're asking. I don't get how they're asking that, but I guess to answer that, if that was addressed to me, for people who are obsessed with music or who have a passion for music, it's always really cool to see the beginning process. Like if you ever follow a bunch of fan bases for any artist, anytime that artist releases like a behind the scenes DVD of how they make their music or whatever, fans love to eat it up. That's why shows like Access Granted or Behind the Music or Making the Video, Diary, all those shows are really popular because people like to kind of see artists be like, they like to see the humanizing aspect of their favorite entertainers. And for people who are more creative, they like to see the creative side. And you just like to know that these people are, have personalities and have lives. Some celebrities get so big, but they're so guarded and you know nothing about them. They have the driest personalities. And then there's some who are just open books. And I think a lot of times, sometimes those open book celebrities sometimes have a longer, they have a longer rate of success. And then on the flip side, sometimes the ones who are so mysterious, because they've always been mysterious, people are always interested in them. So it's kind of like a flip of the coin. Let's see, who else are we talking about? Let me scroll down. I look like Devin Campbell? I don't see it. Nah. I wish I had his voice though. What are your thoughts on the history of U Street in DC? I'm writing a little bit for an article. Okay, Gabrielle, I don't know if you saw the video I did. It was in the news where I was talking about Howard University and the go-go, like Don't Mute DC. That's a great video to kind of check out where I talk about Black Broadway, Old U Street, and all that. That's a great video to check out. But as far as like, for those who don't know, like Washington, D.C., there's an area called the U Street Corridor, which used to be like Black Broadway, kind of like DC's own version of Harlem. And it was a really popping spot in the 30s, 40s, 50s. You had a lot of entertainers and musicians that would come and perform in DC. So, I mean, you had some of the great, like Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, and like just all of the greats, you know what I mean? And so that was just like a really great cultural center in the area. And then you had the riots in 68 after King dies, folks start burning stuff down. Then you also have the idea of white flight. Money starts getting yanked out of the city and investments and everything like that. A lot of the businesses closed down on U Street. U Street is now this super, super gentrified strip that it's still a hot spot at night, but it doesn't have the same kind of culture. It's just a different bit. We talked about that in one of the videos, in one of the news. All right, who are we saying? I feel like watching Mahogany now. Were we talking about Diana Ross and something? That Mahogany? All right. You're my sunflower. I guess your love will be too much. Okay, I think this is a song lyric. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. Do you think Destiny's Child will come back with Michelle, Latoya, Latavia? I thought they would have done a reunion at this point. I thought Essence Festival 2019, because I was trying to figure out who would be the headliner, because this was their 25th year. And I was like, okay, last year y'all had Janet, Mary J, The Roots, Erica, Jill, Snoop Dogg, Clark Sister, like a bunch of folks. So I was like, okay, clearly they got to do it really big for the 25th anniversary. And I'm like, well, after Janet and them, how much bigger can you get? The only thing I could think of at the time was Beyonce or a Destiny's Child reunion, which I thought they would have done it there, but no, they didn't. If Destiny's Child did a reunion, I think it would be smart for them to do it with the 3 plus the original 2, but like y'all can do it with 5 and kind of just shift it around, or you can kind of do a thing where maybe it's an album and maybe on some of the songs it's the original 4 and on some it's the later 3 and on some it's all 5. I personally like both versions. I think I had a greater appreciation for the harmonies of the latter when Michelle Williams came in. People give Michelle Williams a really hard time, but her voice is so unique that it added so much character to the harmonies. And then again, I really like the harmonies that the original 4 had, but I just think when you put the original 4 in the same room with like an Escape and an In Vogue, it's not as distinguishable as when you hear the 3. Y'all can fight me on that. That's just how I feel. Moving on. Somebody's blowing up my phone. Who's this? Oh, I'm just like super popular today. Okay. All right. But yeah, let's see. Some had complaints about Drake's concert lineup. Is that for Uvu Fest y'all talking about? I haven't seen the lineup. I think they said B2K was in it again. Are they still touring? Because I know Homeboy quit, so I guess it's only gonna be 3 of them. He said Bracky. Have I watched Pose? I did. I think I talked about this on the last one. I think Pose is a good show. It's different. It's not something I would have normally checked out, but you guys were the ones who recommended it, so I said it. And it's actually, the writing is actually really well put together. I'm learning some new things, so it's a really great show. All right, what else are we talking about, folks? Are you performing anywhere? Okay, this is funny. Anytime soon. Literally, the only performance I have booked is actually a comedy show, so it's not even my music. Like, yeah, y'all check out my album, but I'm gonna be doing a comedy show instead. I'll give you the details with that. Like, I will say for those in the DMV, once I do like line up an open mic night or 2 or a comedy show, I'll put the information in the community section. Like I said, right now I'm just trying to get my music video done if it ever comes out. I actually, believe it or not, on my last album, for those who have the first one, I shot a music video for Breathe. It just never came out because I didn't like how it looked, so it just never saw the light of day, and it won't. So don't ask. But yeah. So we're by the way, I am looking for dancers. So if you know people in the DMV who are but they got to know how to like dance. Y'all remember like my whole background. I was a choreographer at one point, so you got to be able to like really get it. And it is a paid gig. So listen, if you know anybody, have them shoot me an email at calvinbmichaels@gmail.com. And yeah, so there's that. All right, what else are we talking about? Did you do that hair on purpose? What do you mean? What did I do? I don't know what I just did. Let's talk about that. Oh, my hair. It's just curly. It's just I need to cut it. Like it's just long, curly hair. People think it's dreads, but it's not dreads. It's nothing is locked. This is all I can comb through it if I want to. So it's that. You should do a session on live for music. I should. Somebody. Let's have some fun real quick. Okay. Since nobody was able, because listen, I don't know if y'all checked, I posted on the video the song Addicted. And in the description, there was a trivia question because I said there was like 7 songs that I was kind of like inspired by, and I was going to give a $50 gift card to the person who could get, actually it was 8 songs, who could guess the 8. Nobody guessed it yet. So let's have a little fun. For those who have either, you'd have to have my first album. If you can guess the song I'm playing, or be the first person, you can get dibs on that gift card since all y'all are acting all stereo addicted. So let me see here. All right, y'all gotta guess the song. So this is, if you don't got my first album, I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's see. Oh, I gotta stand up. I can't play sit down. All right, let's see where we're at. All right, anybody got a guess on where that came from? Somebody give me something. Who's okay? What's the problem? Because y'all are fighting with somebody. Who's the person that y'all want out of here? I'm confused at what's going on. Y'all in here fighting. Somebody better know something. Or this one, off the latest one. So, I don't know what we got. Oh, yeah, Tina Turner. I hope Tina Turner I'm worried about because I know she's had a lot, like the stomach cancer, the stroke. He had a lot going on. Anyway. Nobody has a guess. Looks like I'm gonna keep my music. Who's CT? Because CT on their way out of here. Let's see. Let's see. I wish I knew. See, y'all are no fun. Y'all are no fun. All right. No, it's not LMA. It's my music. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's move on. Where else are we at here, folks? Somebody asked me to talk about. I don't know all the details on this. What is this Jeffrey Epstein guy who got caught with all like the human trafficking with the little kids? Rich folks just be doing all kind of wild stuff, right? They just do whatever they want and no comment. And watch them coddle and cover that up too. You know, they get away with everything. So, boom. LMA. Yes, Meant to Be is on my first album, but it wasn't that song. Yes. Who said hi, Todd? You got it. D, send me a I can't send you a message on it. Okay, D, shoot me an email at calvinbmichaels@gmail. I got you from there. Yes, it was that. The Affirmation, it's not The Affirmation, but that's one of my favorite songs on the new album. I love that song. That's an interesting song too. I'll talk about it when I do my video talking about the album. But how I made that song you'd have to listen closely, but it's a combination. The drum, the swing beat from it is inspired from TLC's Creep. There's a hint of Naughty by Nature's the little here we go now. There's a hint of MC Light's Ice Cream Dream in it. Like a lot of the songs on the album have hints of songs of the past. And I just kind of took ideas and combined ideas to try to make something new. So yeah, definitely some cool tracks. Hi, and somebody, D, you got that. As far as To You and More, interesting. What I did with the album as well, some of the songs on the new album are also inspired from songs from the old one. So if you did catch D, if you're on it, D, come on, fan. To You and More on the bridge, it had that same. It had like that same hit, and then Black Plight on the new album is inspired from the sounds of To You and More. I try to have both albums interconnected, so I'm glad somebody caught that. All right. What else are we talking about? Can you play? Look, I'd Never Leave. Oh, that song depresses me. I never dreamed you leave in the summer. That song hurts my heart. Like only because like it's such a sad song, and like literally, I remember when my dad died because he died like in the middle of the summer. I used to play that crap all day just to be in there and depressed, just done. I'll do one more song, but this will be actual celebrity song. So y'all gotta guess what it is. Let's see. guesses? Any guesses? All right, any guesses? All I got for you. Any guesses? Jalil, he said the coat. Oh, that's my music. Isn't it? That was. Oh, okay. You're saying those are your favorites. The Code. Heat the Flame is one of my favorites, but I was afraid to post that one first because I was like, I think people are gonna flame me for that song. So I was like, I don't know. Frequency. A lot of people who are like Janet fans like Frequency because I had that hint of like 24 play on there. All right. Any guesses? No guesses. All right. The hint is think of The Voice. That's all I can give you. Play it again, please. All right, I'll play it one more time, folks. Put my little laptop down. Maybe I should slow it down some. All right. Let's see. What would I play? Let me slow it down. I'll play it a different melody or a different rhythm. Oh, I messed up. Just playing home. Do that again. All right, guesses. No, it ain't my turn. It is Whitney. I need y'all to guess the song though. It wasn't. Somebody got it. Who? Miss Andrews 87. Yeah, you got it. Definitely. Ha. Yeah, I believe in you and me. Good job, y'all. Look at y'all having ears all together. Y'all better get it. All right. Somebody said Preacher's Wife. That's right. Just say the whole movie. It's Preacher's Wife. It's that Whitney song, Preacher's Wife. All right. What's the problem? Spikey, what you going through? Spikey, what's up, Spikey? What's the problem here? Yeah, but you over here fighting with somebody? I got a lot going on. Anyway, what else we want to talk about, folks? A lot of trolls. Well, I guess I must be getting popular if I got trolls like y'all was saying. I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Do you think Aaliyah's okay? So somebody asked, do I think Aaliyah's unreleased music will ever be released? Eventually, it will when her uncle stops tripping. You know, that's one of the beefs I still have with streaming because you can stream to people's music and stuff, and then you can love it on a Monday, and if the label is beefing, it's not on the streaming site the next day. That's why I still like purchase music. I still stream at work, but every music or every album that I really, really want, I purchase because it's like I don't know where some of these companies will be in a few years. So yeah, her uncle got to get together. Yeah, keep your original CDs. Yeah, that uncle's tripping. That's why Tony's Libra album you can't find anywhere. Jay-Z needs to talk with the uncle. Can you please speak on? Wait, not speak on. Oh, ICE knocking on the doors. Okay, so from what I read, they said that they were going, and the people who were already on the list to be deported, those were the people they were going after. I'll just say everything that's going on right now is really politically motivated. It has nothing to do with wanting better for the country or anything. It's political talking points. If you run on a whole campaign about all the things you claim you're going to do, if he doesn't go and do it, even if he doesn't do any of the things he says he's going to do, his base is going to stick with him. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. Like with Donald Trump, a lot of people are like, oh, he's going to lose in 2020. I'm like, I don't know. Like his following is, like the people who really like ride for him, really like low key believe this man is like low key their savior. And so they're going to let him do any and everything unchecked because a lot of the people who are strong supporters feel like they've lost everything, which I'd be looking like, okay. Y'all got it, do y'all? But so you have so many who will just let him do any and everything because they feel like they're finally winning something. Because a lot of people just felt like, oh, we become too politically correct. We can't be racist in public anymore. Minorities and black folks in this group and that group, they're getting too much, and we're getting left behind. And which I think is some crap because I'm like the biggest beef I had, especially after the last election, when you kept hearing the narrative, everybody forgot about the blue collar worker in West Virginia or in Ohio that worked at the factory. And I'm like, well, what about the black folks who ain't never had nothing to begin with? Like, we're in that same financial bubble. And I'm like, we didn't choose to go and vote for some crazy lunatic. Because the beef with Donald Trump I have, the whole racist aspect, Every president is racist, in my opinion. However, when you just have somebody up there who's not even smart, I'm like, y'all just voted for anybody. Y'all had like 17 candidates to choose from. That's the one y'all wanted. And so somebody who's just he's so reactive and just he just acts on impulse, which I think is a dangerous thing because every day of the week we one tweet away from war. I'm like, bruh, calm down. Like, listen, I rocked with Donald Trump when Celebrity Apprentice was out. Like, that was my show. Like, if he would have just stuck with Celebrity Apprentice, he would have been all right with me almost because at least I could watch the show. But like, yo, he is on some other stuff. Anyway, do you remember Quentin Tarver? I do remember Quentin Tarver. I swear, I read he was about to do a book. I don't know if it's true or not. Who do I plan on voting for? I'm not sold on anybody yet, so I'm still just kind of evaluating everybody. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not excited about anybody. I'm just kind of there with looking. I know who I'm not voting for, but I'm not sold on anybody yet. And who said yes? J.J. Johnson, the jobs are going, like, exactly. The people who keep saying, you know, we lost all the jobs, this, that, and the third. We keep forgetting that America's turning tide in two directions. Everything is becoming technologically advanced, where it's all robots, automated stuff, and everything is being outsourced. And some of those jobs are never coming back. And so some people still live in this space where they think it's going to be like 1955 and you're going to be on the assembly line making the cars and you're going to make enough money to buy a house and pay your kids college off in the same 5-year span. Like, those days are gone. And with inflation and with the cost of living skyrocketing, that's it. It is what it is. Like, at this day and age, you have to learn a trade. You have to get some additional form of education, or you have to be a good entrepreneur. Like, those are your options. The idea of, you know, expecting the government to create these super great jobs that are going to give you everything unless you're working in the public sector, they don't exist, unfortunately. So it's literally, you have to learn some kind of trade. You have to learn that the object is getting into a field where there's a need. You get into a field where there's always going to be a need, like like car maintenance. You're always going to need that. That's always going to be there. You know, healthcare. You're always going to need healthcare. And so you want to make sure you don't end up in a field that's on the way out, unfortunately. So if you worked as the landline operator, I mean, most people are transitioning to where they do cell phones. They don't even have landlines anymore. So things are changing. Y'all so busy in here fighting. Who y'all fighting with? We ain't about to do all this fighting, so I ain't got time. What else? Have you heard Brandy is doing a biopic on her life? I did see it. I read that they said she was doing it herself, like playing herself. Hopefully she doesn't do that. I'd rather her get somebody else to do it. There's that. Oh, Lauren, you're forgiven. It's okay. No worries. And you're all good. What else are we talking about, folks? I do gotta go to work in the morning. Oh, it's only 10 o'clock. Programming. All right, drop a few more topics, folks. Anything else that's popping in here? Would I watch a Tevin Campbell biopic? I would, if they put like the real scoop in. Like, I want to know everything. Like, I want them to talk about everything that came with the decline and how people reacted. Like, it's interesting to see the dynamic as well, because Tevin Campbell, I wonder, like, if he would have been a music entertainer in 2019, would he still have the same success? Because, like, you know, everybody's been talking about Lil Nas X, who, you know, he came out of the closet, and you've seen actually support. And if you just go back 20, 30 years, any kind of R&B, hip hop act, anybody who was associated with any LGBT anything, automatically, because folks were so homophobic, they would just end people. Like, Tevin Campbell kind of got finished off. He was already a little bit on a decline anyway, but, you know, I always say it was kind of jacked up how they kind of pushed him out. And he had so much talent. That was kind of jacked up. Anyway. Tevin was what? Lion King? Wait. Oh, this thing. Speaking of Lion King, let me ask y'all. I just want to know if I'm crazy or not. Have we seen the trailers? Because something seems real off with every clip I've seen. It's like, I don't even know if I'm excited about the movie anymore. Remember, I did like an In the News. I was all hyped about Lion King, and now I didn't see these clips. I'm like, I don't know. We gonna see when it comes out. I'm still support, but right now, I don't know if they're trying to fool me or what. But I was like, these aren't looking too good. Even the music, the songs, I was like, Kuda Matata don't even sound good. What y'all doing? So we'll see. Somebody just highlighted. What did you just say? All right, let's scroll. Scrolling. Taylor Swift, I don't even follow. I wouldn't even know what to talk about with Taylor. I don't keep up with her. That is true. The animals can't show emotion. Maybe that's what it is. So while they're like, you hear it, you can't see it. So it's like it's just a little weird. And then it's always hard, like whenever Beyonce does like those animated roles, because she was in another like animated flick. Her voice is so distinguishable, the speaking voice. It's always hard for me to watch it as her being the character, because in my head I'm like, oh, that's Beyonce every single time, except for Cadillac Records. Um, the Spirit song I just listened to this morning, I think it fits for the movie. It's like it's for the movie. That's kind of pretty much what I expected. Um, um, okay, so do I have a Spotify playlist? So I have my personal playlist, and I was trying to figure out how on my artist page I could start sharing the personal ones, but I can't for some reason. Oops, this is still on. So for some reason, my artist Spotify page, it only lets me share the playlists that are already created on Spotify. However, I can share my own personal list. Just don't be trying to find me on Facebook and stuff. But actually, I'll just make another Spotify account without all my government stuff on it. Moving on. What happened to the Escape biopic? Oh no, the Escape biopic, they're fighting because JD's folks have one thing and there's another group that has something else. So it's two different like parties fighting over the rights to the movie and who's gonna do it. Have I heard the new Prince album, the originals? Yep, we talked about it on one of the In the News episodes. And really, the radio out here in DC was playing some of the tracks on it because I was driving in my car and I heard Glamorous Life. And I'm like, it sounds weird because I don't hear Sheila. And I was like, maybe my surround sound in the car is off. Because, sometimes with surround sound, when you have multiple people singing on a song, the way it's layered, sometimes one person's in the right speaker, somebody's in the left speaker. I was like, is my speaker out? I only hear Prince. And then I was like, oh, this only sounds like Prince. And it turned out it was the original demo version. It's like, okay, cool. So that was Prince. Who else we talking about? What do you think of iTunes? I have tons of music in iTunes. Like iTunes is my say all be all. I still use iTunes. Like that's how I organize. I got like 30,000 songs in my iTunes, so I hold on to iTunes for dear life. Um, let's see. What did you say? Said Mulan, Little Mermaid. We kind of talked. I did a video on Little Mermaid, but I will say, at this point, I'm like, I'm over it. They can just have the movie. Shoot, they get on my nerves with that crap. I still think the backlash is unwarranted. A lot of folks were saying, we shouldn't start celebrating, being in white spaces. I agree, but for the sake of the kids, I'm like, let the kids just get some representation because it goes back to the argument when you say, well, why can't we create our own characters? We've been creating our own characters. They're just not getting distribution and they're not getting bought. And there's not enough Black wealth in Hollywood to get these movies put out, unfortunately. So it's kind of like, and then the weirdest thing, it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you come out with your own stuff and you get your own distribution, you come out with your own project, then people say it's all ghetto and it's tacky and it's raggedy because it didn't have the same revenue and people won't support it and they'll laugh at it and call it the EBT project and this, that, and third. Or if you're on the flip side and you have Hollywood backing you, then you're sellout. So it's kind of like, dang, you just can't win either way. What else are we talking? Coco Escovade. I have not, but I will give him a listen. Thank you for shouting me out with that. Is anybody in New Orleans or in the Gulf affected by the weather right now? Who's on? What's it like out there right now? If anybody's in that area, can we get a series of Missy? Missy has an interesting story. I wouldn't mind a series on her career. Let's see. People can still sell albums if they actually put in the work to sell it and keep their albums off Spotify so fans can get out their wallets to buy. I think that's true for some artists. If you're established and you have a strong foundation and a core fan base, those core fans will always follow you. The general public is not as sold. Like I always say, like with music, say you sell 1 million copies of an album. Really, out of that 1 million copies that sell, 20,000 of those purchasers are your hardcore diehard fans. Another 300,000 are probably people who might buy your next project. They're fans, they're casual fans, and then everybody else is the general public who had some kind of interest and they bought it that way. Which is why a lot of times when you saw celebrities a few years back when Twitter was really first starting to jump, they get pissed because they look at their first week sales and you're like, I got 20 million followers and only 100,000 of y'all bought my CD. I'm like, yeah, because just because somebody clicks support on Twitter doesn't mean they want to buy your project. But yeah, a lot of people just don't value music the way they once did. you can't get people to spend $1 on music these days. Really, it's turned into concert tickets is what people will purchase. But because music is so available, it's so right there. You can literally go on YouTube and rip somebody's music and put it in your iPod or in your phone. People just don't value it the same way. People don't want to spend money on it. And because music is now, you notice it's being released more frequently. Like somebody like Drake comes out with something every 5 months. Chris Brown always has a new album all the time. Like you're getting more music more frequently. And so people are less apt to go and purchase it because they already know you have something else coming out anyway. So they'll go ahead and stream something. And I think another thing that affected album sales is playlists. I catch myself and I notice that, when I buy most albums these days, I don't just listen to the album anymore. I usually kind of skim through and like, okay, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, and I put it in the playlist. And then 9 months later, I'll be cleaning the house and I'll actually let the full album play. And I'm like, oh, I like this song. This song was nice. And it's all the songs that didn't make the playlist. And so a lot of times you miss hearing whole projects because we're so used to putting. All right, what are we talking about? We said Rockefeller movie, Earthquake. Oh yeah, these dumb challenges. Can we talk about these dumb challenges that are becoming a trend? First ice cream, then the mouthwash in Arizona. That mouthwash crap is straight nasty. Have you seen that? It's like people going, they open the mouthwash and they spit in it and put it back. Like that's some trifling stuff. Listen, if it ain't sealed, don't buy it. It's nasty. Ugh. Same thing with the ice cream. Folks got to stop clout chasing. Like everybody wants to be famous for everything. If you're gonna be famous for something tangible that can get you somewhere that you can like live off of later down the line. Don't get famous for some bull crap that comes and goes. That's the last thing you want to be is like a distant memory. You know what I mean? What else are we talking about? Okay, you said the mayor shutting. This is Mama Mimi. Mayor shutting things down tomorrow afternoon. Oh, because I guess that's when the storm hits. All right, thanks for that update. That's for the people in the New Orleans area. Oh, okay. So some of you guys are coming onto the live late and you're responding to stuff I said an hour ago. I was so confused. I'm like, who just said that? That was the okay, gotcha. I still want my Phyllis Hyman biopic. That's what I'm waiting for. So can we talk about we did the challenges. What else y'all got in here, folks? Kid, we said how to get away with murder the last season. Man, I stopped watching after season 3. I got behind and just never got in. That's one of those shows where you got to keep watching consistently. You can't jump back in. So one of these days when I have some free time, I guess I'll jump back in. What do you think of this Rolling Stone Top 100 chart? Or do you think it will last? It may last. I don't think it's gonna have the same impact as Billboard. Rolling Stone to me has been kind of out of the loop for like the last 15 years anyway. Nobody really cares about Rolling Stone out of my generation or the generation after mine. Rolling Stone is for the Generation Xers and the baby boomers. They're the ones who really value Rolling Stone. My generation and the generation after mine, we just care about the artists who get the Rolling Stone cover, and then nobody reads the actual articles in there. Nobody takes the reviews from the Rolling Stone seriously. So it's kind of like, it is what it is. Let's see. Jasmine Sullivan. I could see her playing Phyllis. Her voice is a little different. I don't know. I could see her. Well, you know what? I will say with biopics, I don't mind when there's somebody who sings the part and maybe they don't sound anything like the artist, but they put their own unique twist. I can see Jasmine pulling it off. I would like for Jasmine to make a comeback anyway. People have always slept on her. I said in 2010, the best R&B album to come out of 2010 was the album she had. I forgot what it was called. Is it? What's the Jasmine Sullivan album that came out in 2010? It's the one with circles round and round, and it has Stuttering, Love You Long Time, and Love Me Back. Thank you. Who said that? Alan. Yeah, I said that was one of the best R&B albums of 2010, and it sold 50,000 copies the first week, and then she got pissed off and didn't want to promote it no more. But that was such a good album. Reality Show was really good as well, but that Love Me Back album was something serious. Donna Summer biopic. I'm down for it. I always said Kelly Rowland, she can either play Gladys or play Donna. She looked just like both of them. Afro Future Fest. I'm out of the loop. You'd have to enlighten me on what it is. I'm not too familiar. Kay Ferguson. Yeah, I'm not too familiar on that one. Is that like a bunch of like West African artists that have a festival? So like P Square and all. Well, P Square is a little bit earlier in time. I don't know if that's what it is, but all right. Remember when TLC was supposed to have the Rolling Stone cover? Okay, give me the scoop on that. Is that the Rolling Stone cover? What happened? Is that I don't know. Is that the Fan Bel Air? Is that Crazy Sexy Cool? Was Left Eye beefing with him and didn't show up for the shoot? Not sure. Give me the scoop. Chris Brown. Oh yeah, some of you asked about the Chris Brown situation. As far as the colorism thing and the hair texture and what people prefer. Where do we go from here? I think everybody has their preference, which is fine. But if you're gonna have your preference, do it in a way that doesn't demean everybody else who's not in that same lane. And then, in addition to that, when you recognize how society has always treated certain people based on how they look, or how their hair texture is, or how their body type is, you have to be sensitive to how your words may make other people feel. And then, if people call you out on it, you don't get to be dismissive and then tear down the group that's calling you out on whatever it is. The best thing you can do is be empathetic to whatever it is they're saying or respect their argument, even if you don't agree or you don't align. And so we've had that issue. You see a lot, and it happens in hip hop so much, where it is like always a constant attack on darker skinned women or women whose hair is not shimmering and blowing in the wind, and they just get ripped apart all the time. And for a lot of them, they're just kind of over it. But I will say with Chris, because a lot of people didn't like that song lyric, I was like, okay, I agree to that aspect, but I'm like, I hope you have the same energy for all these other entertainers who are doing exactly the same thing. Literally every rapper, literally every last one of them, minus a handful, are doing the exact same thing. And people give rappers passes to just do any and everything. They can rap about whoever, say anything they want. They can be just straight goons and coons all day, and people will gas them up because they got a hot mixtape. So I'm like, give that same energy to the other ones. And then there will be some men who say, well, it's the same thing with the women and the expectations they have for men. But I will say it's a little different because we're in a male-dominated society. It's a male chauvinistic world we live in. And so even like, I will say, like, when I did a video one time on white privilege, and I said that before, like, even black men, we do have some privileges that we have over black women. Even though we're still under that oppression of being black, we still have the luxury of being men. And as men, there are some privileges we get. It's not the same kind of privileges white men get, but it is still a privilege that we have over black women. Unfortunately, it is what it is, and it's not anything to all of a sudden get defensive about. I'm like, no. It's just saying that in some instances, use your privilege to do good, and when you have that opportunity to make positive and effective change, utilize it. Because if you're not, then now you're using your privilege to be reductive, and now you're in the way. Anyway, let me go back up and scroll some. Uptown Records miniseries. That sounds cool. I did not hear about that, but that would be a great movie because I know Jodeci and them had some great fights backstage. I'd love to watch that. And Christopher Williams. They did him a little dirty. Remember Christopher Williams? Don't wake me, I'm dreaming. Like he had that like super strong, go down, like just that, like a heavy rich voice. Let's see. What are your thoughts on the title legend? People are throwing that word around lately. Not all artists have to be legends. I do think we toss it around a little bit more, but I think it's also a result of seeing the shift from the physical era in music when people still bought physical albums to digital, and now you're seeing it shift to streaming. So now a lot of the people who had a really great run during the digital era, who sold a bunch of records digitally, as far as people purchasing songs from iTunes or Amazon, and now you're seeing the shift. So now they're starting to be called legends and everything because they broke all of these records. Like if you go back and look at a lot of the records and music that were made, many of them came after 2005. And that's really because that's when the digital era started hitting its peak. And so people sometimes use the accolades from the digital era and they think that eclipses the accolades of the physical era, which we've already done that before and talked about on this channel and how they're not equatable. But yeah, it's a generational thing. I'm noticing like people be out for 5 or 6 years and now they're a legend and they're an icon. I'm like, oh, okay, got it. And to each his own. Everybody has their own lane. I just wish the generations would be more respectful of those that came before. I always said music just works full circle, like especially those who want to be an artist. You can't really be the artist you aspire to be if you have no respect for any of the artists who came before you and you just think that you're God's gift to man. Like you got to look back and recognize the trends that were out there before. And even if you're trying to be like a music exec or anything, you got to pay attention to what happened before, because that's how you're able to build your own sound. Like I think the sound I have is very rooted in like 70s and 80s funk, and 90s R&B. But again, when you pay homage to the past, and not even just pay homage, but when you study what's happened in the past, you learn the faults and you learn what works and what doesn't. I think one of the reasons Beyonce became so big is because her team, her father, everybody who's worked with her, I feel like they looked at a handful of people. They looked at Michael, they looked at Diana, They looked at Tina, they looked at Janet, and depending on what day of the week it is, sometimes they might have even looked at Madonna. And so I think they use like those artists and they followed and paid attention to what worked, what didn't work, where were the flaws, where the flaws didn't exist, where did they excel, and that's how she built her brand, kind of. And she kind of just took little bits and elements of inspiration and ideas and marketing strategies from those acts, and that's why she's kind of in the position she's in now. And that would be the only explanation, because I see so many other acts who I believe carried a similar amount of talent, but they're just not here. They don't have the same backing. They don't have the same team. The longevity wasn't there, because again, like I said, Usher should be where Beyonce is, but he just fell off so hard around like '07. After Here I Stand, his momentum just died. He had a hard time reinventing himself. And so, like I said, like I said before, with each generation, the goal is the generations of the past, they open the door, they put a lane out there for you, they drive to that lane, and then they pull up to you and let you out. And you're supposed to go from where they left off and take it even further. So I have nothing against newer acts who end up more successful or who end up getting a lot of the accolades that the greats of the past get. I just have an issue when people get disrespectful and try to erase the legacies of those before. Anyway, thank you guys for who's donating. I saw somebody else who sent. Who's that? This is. Oh, Kalena. Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, my kid's about to get some popsicles tomorrow. Let's see, because yo, it's so hot. It was like 100 freaking degrees today. I was so glad it rained. Left Eye was ahead of her time. She came out with the challenge before Outkast did speak about. Left Eye was interesting. Like, if y'all don't know, TLC was one of my favorite groups. Left Eye, I liked her in TLC solo, and I liked her when she did collabs, but I didn't like Supernova. Sorry, it was okay. There was a few songs on it I liked, but she was in such a space I couldn't get with what she was doing artistically at the time. I think she was coming into her lane, but she died before she could get to it, unfortunately. Those ageism is huge in this generation. Yes, it's really bad. And I think with this generation, because everything is so, we want instant gratification, the now. It's so hard to leave a lasting impact with anything. It's crazy. What else are we talking about, folks? Y'all are really hanging in here, huh? All right. From the left coast. Is that the west coast? Because that's where I'm from. All right. I agree. Who just said it? That was Just Onyx. I think social media's making things go viral. It takes away from the substance. I agree as well. Remember, like between 2013 and 2016, if you were on Twitter, every month there was a new dance. Everybody had a challenge that they were trying to do. And so you had all these songs that came out with a dance, and they would be hot for like 5 weeks, and then the next one would come, and then the next one would come, and then the next one would come. And now in 2019, we don't remember any of those songs. Like, yeah, too much cloud chasing. Somebody said, beyond Beyonce, is there anyone else right now that's on their way to becoming a legend? I think there are. It's just they're not people we pay attention to. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but the accolades she has is going to put her in that bubble, even if you don't like her like that. She's not somebody I check for, but I see the numbers and the sound scan and the poll star numbers from the tours, and she has a huge impact. She's definitely one. I think Pink is in that lane, but as far as like R&B or like black entertainers, Beyonce's one. What's going to be interesting with Rihanna is seeing how her music ages. I think Anti will age really well. I think Rated R will age really well. I don't know how Good Girl Going Bad will age. I don't know how Loud will age. I don't know how Talk That Talk will age. I think Unapologetic will be okay. Music of the Sun didn't age that well. The album that came after that, was it A Girl Like Me? That one didn't really age that well either. So I think Rihanna will be in that lane, though. I think the longevity is what made people start to appreciate her, because she was definitely somebody I used to critique all. When I first started this channel, she'd be the main one I'd go after, because I was like, she doesn't write anything. She doesn't this, she doesn't. I don't believe how she has all these number ones. And then over time, I was like, okay, I see the vision they had for her. All right, I can appreciate her for the lane that she's in. So cool. Mariah Carey's already in that category, so I wouldn't consider her somebody of today. All right. Somebody said you are legend. Dang, this thing kept shifting. Okay, now y'all chatting again. Now it's moving. Let me go back. Let me go back because I want to at least acknowledge the people who I guess posted something before they made a post or sent something before they made a post. Um, thank you, Princess Ariel. She said your black voice is fierce. You need to be on CNN something. They wouldn't let me on no CNN. Oh, did I tell you guys? I'm not gonna name the show just in case they ever reach out again. But there was a talk show that reached out and they wanted me to go on their show and talk about white privilege. But I turned it down only because I didn't think that specific show was the right platform for that conversation. And I didn't know if they were trying to set me up. Like I didn't know if it was gonna be something where I'd be on the show and then they bring out 10 people who just have absolutely nothing, and then they bring up my past and say, oh well, you went to Howard and you had both parents in the house and you have a job and you know they screenshot my YouTube and oh your kitchen looks nice, so how are you not privileged? Like I was like, y'all not gonna set me up, so I turned it down. But I did tell them I didn't want to do the show, but I will give consulting on how to properly give an episode like that without pissing everybody off, because you can't have a conversation about white privilege and not piss off white folks or piss off black folks. There's a way to do it, but they didn't respond. They needed somebody to pop off. That's what that was about. All right. Yes. All right. Corvette, you knew Christopher Williams. All right. So he said TLC. It was during the Famo era. Eminem got the cover, but Famo sold more. Oh, Tykel. Okay, that sounds about right. The disappointing thing with TLC's Famo album was that it could have sold so much more, but they had so much turmoil behind the scenes. Like they were fighting on a Dear Live video. They fought. The Unpretty video is interesting because the budget for that video was $1 million. They fought so much about ideas that they went over budget by $600,000. I mean, the video came out and it was a great video and it went to #1, but I think that played a role into why there were no more singles, because I thought they would have released the song My Life or I'm Good at Being Bad. It seemed like it was going to get a push, but it got so much backlash because of the content. I thought they had definitely 2 or 3 more singles. And then when you remember that they turned down Heartbreak Hotel, which went to Whitney, Faith, and Kelly, I'm like, I mean, I don't know how they're going to sing it, but still, they turned that down. They turned down 702s, Where My Girls At. I'm like, y'all could have had a great little era, but it's cool. Who else we talking about? Oh yeah, Detroit. Somebody said it does, especially the black Detroit community who are dealing with a water crisis, gentrification, and unemployment. It's crazy. Like literally, it seems like no matter what city you go to, it's like the same thing is happening in every city as far as what's happening to the people who you would say are voiceless, which is it's some bullcrap. Hello, Amina. Like we just talked about Flint in I think the last video. It's crazy how things are happening. Hello from Brazil. Oh, I made it, y'all. Somebody from Brazil is hitting me up. I always say like, who is that? That's Tite, something like that. Listen, if you ever notice when you go on YouTube and you watch anybody's concert clip, music video, you always see the comments say, "Please come to Brazil. Love from Brazil." I'm always like, you don't make it until somebody from Brazil starts gassing you up. So, all right, I need to go find them shades I put on in that last video in my scarf. All right, and someone who puts in hard work quality. Who else were we talking about? I see you, Brazil. All right. Millennial narcissism. I see that too. I still Dan Cloud TV. I still buy physical CDs sometimes too. I buy physical CDs of my favorite artists. The most general, the people who come out today that are just coming out with like new albums, I don't normally buy. But if it's somebody that's like a childhood favorite or somebody I've rocked with for years, I'll go buy the physical copy. All right. All right. Who else? Somebody said everyone doesn't need a biopic. Unsung episode will be fine. I agree to an extent. I think Unsung is actually a really good show. And like I said that about the DeBarge movie. Like I think it was the Bobby DeBarge film, but they've had an unsung on Bobby DeBarge and the DeBarge group. And I thought those were some of the best unsung episodes they had. Like those ones, the Clark Sisters episode, the Tammy Terrell episode, David Ruffin's episode, Eddie Kendrick's episode. They've had some really, really great episodes. I just wish somehow the quality that Unsung has could somehow translate into some of the biopics TV1 tried to do. From what I read, Russ Parr produced the Bars one, but it is what it is. But like I said, you continue to support these projects, and the more support you give some of these like Black-owned projects and everything like that, the more funding that comes later down the line to make the projects even better. We have to start somewhere because when it comes to Black films and Black Hollywood, we're starting a race from behind the starting line, and we're expected to perform twice as good as those who've had a head start. And so again, even when some of these films, like if you have the TV network Aspire, it's usually on like the digital channels. I definitely say even if you don't watch it, just turn it on and wash your dishes or do something just to give them the ratings. Like there's all these Black content creators who are trying to get out there. They just don't have the backing. And so you start supporting and giving traction. That's how they got on. That's how Issa Rae got on. Just the backing and the support from different audiences. Let's see. Chris Williams is Ella Fitzgerald's nephew? I didn't know that. Okay. Is there anyone? Oh, that's a good question. Is there anyone from the '90s era that you wish made a comeback? From the '90s era that could make a comeback. From the '90s comeback. Gosh, well, all of them at this point would be in their 40s and 50s, so it limits what they can do as far as how they be presented and marketed. But I really like Lisa Fisher. I mean, she's more comfortable singing background for other people. Like that's her lane. She was a part of Change, the group with Luther Vandross, and then when he went on tour, like she was one of the Lutherettes. And then she had that song, How Can I Ease the Pain? And I think she's one of the few people who shared a Grammy. Like there was a Grammy ceremony and she and Patti LaBelle won the same Grammy. Like they couldn't figure out who between the two should get it, so they gave it to both of them. I really like Lisa Fisher. I thought she was really dope. I wish Mos Def still made more music. That was one of my favorite rappers. And I wish Phife Dawg didn't die because I was really looking forward to the new Tribe Called Quest music. Let's see. But yeah, R&B. Tevin Campbell should make a comeback. And I wish is it Kenan Thompson? Not Kenan Thompson. That's dang the actor. The guy from High Five. He passed away. Remember High Five, the kissing game group? What is his name? He died. Tony Thompson. I wish he could have had a bigger career, but he passed away. Somebody said, where are we at, folks? Mariah's like, ew, I can't stand Taylor Swift. She's such a brat. She ain't really my cup of tea either, but folks are eating up her stuff. All right, Greg, the man said, is pop music dead? I say it died in 2010. Now it sounds like rap music. Like Ariana is just Diet Coke Mariah. There's no good pure pop music anymore. We talked about that. I did an R&B is dead episode. I think it's episode 17. And the whole basis of the episode was talking about how pop has never had its own unique sound and it's always borrowed from everybody else. And so we go through the whole history of like the teen pop explosion and how they all started out super bubblegum. And by the time they got to 2001, 2002, 2003, all of them were R&B hip hop influenced and they were all swagged out. And then when that sound died, then they went to EDM, like how pop just really there's no real sound. Pop just kind of means, what's popular. But we talk about how a lot of people jump. And it's crazy because in one of the R&B is dead episodes, I predicted that Katy Perry was going to fall off. And I had said I didn't know where she was going to go. And this is before Prism came out. Or maybe it was around the time Prism had just came out. But I had said, I don't know where Katy's going to go because music was getting a little darker and more like R&B hip hop influence. And she was so bubblegum. And then, she was all right with Dark Horse and she got away with it. And then with the last project, folks said no, they wouldn't give it to her. What are your thoughts on stan culture and how it makes it unacceptable to critique artists? Yes, Beyonce included. I like Beyonce, but I love her older material. Stans are annoying. I'm all for supporting artists and everything, but I think sometimes stans get too territorial and they'd be ready to fight you, like just too much. I don't think there's any artist that's above critique. And critique is a good thing because it's just saying, I like this, but it would be cool if you tried this, or it would be dope if you could do this. Stan culture sometimes takes out the purity of music, like because you end up have you ever met somebody who doesn't like somebody else or another artist solely because of the fan base? Like it's like, oh, I don't like them because their fans are annoying. And I'm like, well, what they got to do with the actual music? They can't help who likes them. Stan culture, it can be annoying. I mean, I used to kind of be like that when I was younger. I used to go hard for like some of my favorite people, but I was never it. Today is weird because I mean, folks will go and dig up people's personal information and try to get folks fired from their job because they said somebody's album sucks, and everything like that. It's interesting. Um, let's see. Um, Mariah, I missed it. Somebody said Mariah's already legend. I'd give her that. She has accolades. And I think the definition of legend shifts. You saw a lot of people gave Dionne Warwick a lot of flack because she felt um, whatever she said about Beyonce. And I think with Dionne Warwick's argument, the era in which she comes from, how they rated legends and everything, it had nothing to do with chart success. It was just time, how long you could stay in the industry and how long you still had the prestige and the accolades and just that vibe that people associated your music with. And so I think that was more of a generational argument. And then people from my generation and the later generations took it the wrong way and took it as her saying like Beyonce sucks. And then you saw it was just World War III. And I again, that's social media. When you have different generations sharing the same communicative space, that's gonna happen. It is what it is. Um, Classic R&B. Where are we at, folks? Um, all right, LD. All right, man. Don't get in trouble with your wife. You better go on to sleep. Don't be getting cussed out because it was me. It was my fault. Um, oh, I totally didn't see the Masked Singer. I didn't see that, but I heard Gladys Knight was on there, who y'all know is one of my favorite altos, and apparently Latoya Jackson was on there. I was like, oh, okay. I missed it though. I didn't see it last season. What do you think about Little Kim and how she canceled the press due to their messiness? Sometimes you do gotta take your like. Here's the thing. I don't think people understand that celebrities are subjected to so much. Little Kim, yes, we know she did a lot here. We know there's all kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, imagine what it must be like where every time you look at any social media post about yourself, there's always a bunch of negative commentary about how you look, that you're washed up because you got other fan bases who are like you're a has-been. And then you just got to think about her experience from like 2010 to maybe 2012 when her and Nicki were really going at it. And because Nicki had pull behind her, Nicki pretty much was winning that kind of beef they had. You got to look at the experience of what it's like to constantly be on the bad side of press. That's why so many celebrities just kind of become reclusive. They don't even do interviews. Like Beyonce doesn't do interviews. I think she's done one interview in like 5 years. Janet just started doing interviews again because from like 2012, after that stuff with Paris Jackson, where they claim she slapped the girl, and that didn't happen. And Janet was like, "The hell with all of y'all, I'm out." And she hasn't done interviews in years. And the only interviews she will do are like solely on the music. You're not going to ask her about Michael. You're not going to ask about her personal life. Like celebrities are just to that point where sometimes they got to take mental breaks. I do that with YouTube sometimes, where I'll make a video and sometimes I don't even look at the comments because I already know what kind of comments are going to be on it, just for my own sanity, because I don't need to be up stressed out trying to cuss out everybody all the time. So, and I'm not a celebrity. So if I'm doing that with my little tiny YouTube channel, imagine what it's like for real celebrities who have millions of people following them. So I guess Kim could do that. I guess do what you do to keep yourself well. You got to be well up here. If you're and here, if you don't have these together, you can't do good for anybody else. Where are we at? All right, we'll hang for like another 20 minutes. Then I got some snacks I want to eat, and I'm not about to eat on camera because it'd turn into one of them ASMR videos of me crunching and chewing with this microphone right here. All right. I don't drink blood. Don't be scared. What you talking about? Okay. All right. Let me keep going. What is going on here? What is this person going off? All right. Well, they're going to take a vacation too. All right. Anyway. Khalid's talk sounds so nostalgic, early 2000s R&B. I do like that song. The Khalid talk. I like that song. That's a decent one. I bought the album. It's okay. I'm not crazy over it. It's kind of just that sound that's current today. I'm not sold on it, but it's not bad either. All right, Nima. Good night. Queen Aja came from YouTube, and yep, that's true. She definitely came from YouTube. Has some staying power, so good for her. All right. let's do a few more minutes and then y'all we'll wrap. So what else y'all got on here? We if you, Jeremiah, if you go back in the beginning, I kind of talked a little bit about Lil Nas X, and the record. So I think maybe in the first 20 minutes of this stream, we kind of talked about it. I was just saying how, um, everybody has something that works for them. And as far as him possibly breaking Mariah and Boyz II Men's record, I mean, records eventually are meant to be broken. But like I said, I still think once they will have a different kind of impact that's longer lasting because the song it's based in a substance that people can relate to as far as the aspect of losing somebody and then finding ways to cope. So that song is a song that will never die. Something like Old Town Road, I think it's fun. It's cool. The kids love it. My kids are obsessed with it. I'm like, man, every 5 minutes we got to hear that. I'm not getting that. Then they want to put the remix on. I'm like, dang, okay, all right. But for that generation, that's going to be some nostalgia for them. So, like I said, everything works for each generation. And at the end of the day, once they made its record in an era where there was no such thing as streaming, there was no such thing as digital streaming sites as well. So you got your number one song solely from album sales and radio play. It's a different industry, it's a different day and age. So, things change. Um, where are we at? I talked about Jermaine Dupri as well. Is Michelin Pierre. If you go back a little bit, I talk about it. Thoughts on Lauryn Hill's MTV Unplugged. I watched it. I thought it was weird when I was little, but I think she was just already going through a lot upstairs, like a lot. The pressures of the industry, and I mean, I think it's still a good album. It's just so different from the last one or from the Miseducation. It's like you don't really know what to do with it. Every artist always has that album that you just like, what were you doing? Where were you at? And it's not saying it's bad, but like perfect example would be like Shantae Moore. When she came out, she was more of a jazz, traditional R&B act, and people loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. Then Shantae's Got a Man became a hit. So when they went to the next album, Exposed, which it was an extremely contemporary R&B album. I mean, it had some bangers on there, but the original fans who were fans of like the Love Is Taken Over, or Old School Love, or This Time, or Finding My Way Back to You, Listen to My Song type of Shantae Moore fans, they were not feeling Take Care of Me, Bitter, Straight Up. What else is on that album? When It Comes to Me, Sean, they could not stand it. It got so bad they had to like shut down the ladies' fan forum. The fans were over there just pissed off. Even though I liked the album, I thought it was a good album, but it is what it is. Who's in the market for Raphael Sadiq? That's one of my favorite producers. I'm definitely down for Raphael to come out with some more music. Cameron Boyce. I've heard the name. Where do I know that name from? Cameron Boyce. What was Cameron Boyce? What was that? I know the name. It was trending this week. I don't remember what it was for. Calvin, who should do the Super Bowl? I don't know because I ain't watched it in a few years. But yeah, I'm checked out from the Super Bowl. I don't know though. I feel like they've had all the big name entertainers do it. If Britney Spears didn't get drugged off and whatever they've done to her, she could have been one because she should have done it in her earlier years. I don't know who else could do it. I'm not really pressed about it though. I probably wouldn't watch it anyway. Did Alicia marrying disrupting Swiss Beats marriage affect her career? I don't know why she fell off, to be honest. I think that played one small role, but her music direction also shifted a lot as well. She kind of went more for like an earthy alternative R&B kind of vibe. Like the music was still good, but it's like if you listen to the first two, we'll say 2.5 albums. So we'll include the Unplugged album. So you listen to the Diary of Alicia Keys, the very first album, and the Unplugged. They're very different from As I Am, which is kind of in its own bubble, which is kind of like that transition album. And then when you hear Element of Freedom, it's just really left field from the others. And then Girl on Fire is really different. And then the last one was, I didn't like the last one that much, to be honest. I liked the song Holy War, but I wasn't crazy over the last one. But her sound changed as well. So I think, and then also music became extremely generic after her peak. So, it was already generic when she came out because like she came out in 2001. It's like the peak of the teen pop explosion. And if you go back to 2001, a lot of the biggest hits from that year didn't age well. They're not songs you play today. And so as she was climbing, like by the time you get to 07, she's still making this very like eclectic music. It's very deep and everything, but a lot of people weren't there. Everybody was trying to party. And so she kind of just got phased out. Because remember, there was a time where she was neck and neck with like somebody like a Beyonce. And Sierra was kind of hanging in there a little bit. She wasn't quite up there with them. But there are a lot of other R&B ladies that were in the mix. But she kind of fell off a bit. But her music, yeah, she just needs like a reinvention, I guess. Um, Neo Soul has had its time in the U.S. I don't think it could come back. I don't think Neo Soul ever really died. It's just the issue is now because something like BET, they don't play music videos anymore. Those were the only places you would see a neo soul video anyway. Like they're not getting the same airplay. And a lot of the neo soul acts are no longer signed to major labels. A lot of them are on small independent labels like E1 Music and everything like that. So they're not getting the same push. But like Lettucey's still been coming out with albums. NDRE just came out with an album. Music Soul Child is still doing music. Maxwell is allegedly in the studio. I mean, there's a lot of neo soul acts. I don't know if it'd be as mainstream. Jill Scott is still doing her thing. It's a different day, different age. Where are we at? Y'all are really hanging. Y'all really be hanging. I just knew this little number of viewers would have dropped to like 5 by now. Oh yeah. Are you talking about the J. Cole song with Young Thug? Who asked me that? Scorpius Jones. I don't know if that's the song you're asking me about, or if you're talking about the album. I've only heard the single that he has with Young Thug. The song's okay. I haven't heard the album though. Where are we at? Honestly, someone's got to take the lead tonight. What's it gonna be? I'm not sure what you're saying. I missed something on here. Um, Man, Condition is a great group. Puff Johnson, yeah, rest in peace as well. Um, some people's voices deteriorate gracefully, like Whitney 10 years from now. The Prime sounded good. Carrie Hilson, like she's a victim of that stand culture where they pretty much wiped her out. Apparently, she's in the studio a little bit. I mean, she had to go through like therapy and stuff because folks used to just troll her all the time. I'm guilty of it as well. I didn't bother her, but I used to say little comments on my YouTube videos. She used to kind of be a butt of one of my jokes every now and then. So I'm just as guilty of it, but I never personally like attack her. I've never been somebody messy who would like go on Twitter and at the artist and say something crazy, like. But yeah, but that was years ago. Let me see. Please, let's see. Yeah, Carrie, but yeah, I wish she wouldn't have done that remix. It's like R&B is different than hip hop. You can't take shots at the other singers. It just doesn't come out right. And then at the time, it's like you got to know whose fan bases will do what. You know what I mean? Keisha Cole too. I ain't like how she said that stuff about Michelle. I don't like that people always bother Michelle Williams because she messes with nobody, and people just flame and roast that girl all day. The girl can't help that she grew up as a church girl and wasn't always as coordinated as everybody else. But the girl got a gift. I like her too because our birthdays are real close to each other. But yeah, leave Michelle alone. Um, oh, that's a great one. August Alsina. I feel horrible for him. If you didn't know, like he has an autoimmune disease. I don't think he's ever laid out exactly what it is, but I just read like he lost like the feeling in his legs where he can't walk at the moment, and like his body just kind of rejects any like medication and everything like that, and so he's always back and forth. And because some people were saying he looks different in the face, and I'm like, that's probably the medicine they're giving him probably has steroids in it to help his organs and everything, but. Yeah, that's always sad. So hopefully things work out because I mean he's also raising the kids of his sibling that passed away. So best wishes to him. That's tough. All right, we got a few more minutes, y'all. Um, what are your thoughts on immature IMX? They were okay when I was a kid. I thought they were kind of cool. I liked to watch my do my thing video. It was for the Good Burger soundtrack. I used to think that music video was cool. I don't know if there's a lane for them today because it doesn't seem like people when they kind of came back out in '99. Remember when they had the little the ooh ooh baby say you want to stay tonight? It didn't really jump like it could have. I don't know if there's a lane for them anymore. And then with just a lot of the rumors that are aligned with some of them, as far as that Chris Stokes stuff, it kind of casts like a dark shadow over Marcus Houston specifically. Uh, what are your thoughts on vocal competitions? I don't think the vocal like the singing competition shows are they're good entertainment, but I have yet to see anybody who's made it out of one of these shows in the last 6 years really have a career. Like so, American Idol. Who's the last American Idol we actually know musically that's doing something? Like it's been years. The Voice. I haven't seen anybody really jump off like that. The Four, I think, is a great show. I like the concept of it, but again, I think it's an oversaturated market. One of the things we always do in America, something hits and that capitalism lens jumps in, and it's like everybody jumps on it, and then everything gets oversaturated every single time. That's pretty much what killed disco. We talked about that, where it became so big that people get tired of it. And so with all these shows with the singing competitions and X Factor and America's Got Talent and this, that, and the third, the impact is no longer there. At least when American Idol first came out, because it was the only show of its kind at the time, all of those first initial acts like the Kelly Clarksons and Clay Aiken and Ruben Studdard and Fantasia and Carrie Underwood and Jordan Sparks and all of them, they all kind of had success because at the initial time, the show had an impact and it was kind of like a household name. But then when you start having too many of them and you have too much of the same thing, people move on. I do remember Les Nubians. Yes. Floetry. Marsha's still hanging in there. I remember the Floesis had her own solo project and she had this song with Music Soul Child. I don't know what happened to her after that though. Okay, we got a few more minutes, folks. Somebody said all Black female singers today get harassed for not being Beyonce, which is why I'm not a fan of Beyonce. It's too damn much. She needs to speak out against her fan base. I think the issue is labels all market their artists to now compete with her or to emulate what she's doing, which I do think is an issue because you lose the variety. Listen, Beyonce's Beyonce. Everybody can't be her. This is all it is. But I do think we do have this standard where people they will make her the standard for everything in music. And I think that's why I always had an appreciation for the 90s, because there were a bunch of leading ladies. In the 90s, you had Whitney, who was just the say all be all. You had Mariah in the mix. You had Janet. You had Toni. Madonna's in there. I give her kudos. She's not my type, but she was doing her thing for the pop world. I'm missing some of these other R&B acts. And I mean, those were like the superstars. And then you had other folks who were still going platinum and double platinum, who were just, Vanessa Williams was hanging in there. She wasn't selling the same amount of records, but she was still going, 1 and 2 times platinum. You had, who else? I mean, there's a bunch of women entertainers that were out at the time. So everybody wasn't like, everybody who came out in 1992 was not compared to Whitney Houston because there were 50 other artists out you could be compared to. Today, like you said, it is kind of like a Beyonce and Friends show, but I mean, that's what happens when y'all create an environment where you only want there to be the queen and the best and the this and the that. You limit what's there for everybody else. And so now the scope and that lane of what's out there has gotten smaller and you have less to choose from. And the labels no longer want to invest in anybody else. Kind of sucks. Blue Cantrell, she was a great vocalist. She had that song. It's on her second album that had, is it called Bittersweet? God. In the Middle, that's what it's called. Go listen to that. You want to hear some singing? Blue Cantrell, In the Middle. That's a vocal there, man. I'm like, dang. Vanessa Williams, that was the mom. Well, she was in the movie Soul Food. That was Terry. That was, F the Family. But musically, and she was also like the first Black Miss America. She had the song Save the Best for Last, Comfort Zone, Running Back, I won't go running back to you. That Right Stuff, Happiness, that was a good one. That Happiness. She also had her own version of Colors of the Wind. So yeah, she was more of like a tradition. Well, towards the end of her music career, she did more jazz. She had another album come out in 2009, had a single called Breakfast. It was a really nice song. Let's see, Colors of the Wind. Yep, Save the Best for Last. That's a great one. Yeah, Celine Dion was still hanging in there. Actually, that was her peak. Barbra Streisand was still hanging in there. The Super Bowl question, I thought I answered that. I don't really know who should do the Super Bowl. I mean, if you're going to do the Super Bowl, you need somebody who actually knows how to perform. And at this point, I think all of the strong performers have taken it. I like Anderson .Paak, but he's not big enough for the Super Bowl. They'd never book him. I think Anderson .Paak, though, I think he should be a lot bigger than he is. He's definitely somebody to see if he comes to your town. That's one of the best concerts I've been to in a really long time. Let's see. 702 should have had a bigger spotlight. 702's, the downfall for them was that there were just so many girl groups out at the time. And then because you had the member that got pregnant right at their peak. And that's one of the downsides to when you're a woman in the music business, is that you get punished for doing what women are supposed to do as far as giving birth. Men, we can pop out as many babies as we want because we don't have to carry them. So we can just lay I was about to say something inappropriate. We can just lay pipe all around town and get all these girls pregnant and be just fine. But women, when they get pregnant, they have to stop touring. They have to do everything. And then, with a lot of women, they say after they give birth, their voice changes. And so, that's been the experience for many acts. I think that slowed In Vogue down as well. Cindy was always pregnant. And so, like, right as they were ready to, Funky Divas was a huge era. And right as they were ready to keep going, Cindy was pregnant. So that's why we got the Runaway Love EP instead. And then Terry had a solo album, and then Dawn was ready to do hers. But now it was time to do EV3, and Dawn was pissed about the contract. So she was like, I'm out. And then there was no more In Vogue. You saw Janet, y'all were calling her a criminal because she postponed her tour because she was pregnant. Y'all were talking about she's going to jail for stealing everybody money. So pregnancy can sometimes, it's a blessing personally, but I think people get too superficial and sometimes get selfish with the expectations they have for women entertainers when it comes to still, they still want to be people. At the end of the day, your music career, whatever career you have, doesn't last forever. And at the end of the day, what do you have to leave? What is that legacy you've left outside of those, tangible things? What about the things that have substance, like a family? So I hate that women get vilified for that piece. But somebody said the problem with singing shows is that they don't have good representation behind. Even if you do win, when people won X Factor, they had Simon Cowell's label pushing for them. That's the other thing. Yeah, the labels, sometimes the backing sucks. Kimberly Locke was a perfect example of that. She didn't win American Idol, but I think she was either third or fourth. She was second runner up. So it was Ruben Studdard, Clay Aiken, Kimberly Locke. Kimberly did get a deal. Wasn't a great deal. She came and went. Same with Tamara Gray. Tamara Gray, that season that she was in the first season with Kelly Clarkson, I think she was fourth. It was Kelly Clarkson, Justin Guarini. I don't remember who the third person was. I want to say it was some lady named Nikki or something, and then Tamara Gray. And Tamara Gray actually wrote Fantasia's Believe, or I Believe. But Tamara had a deal as well, and it just wasn't the right kind of deal. And if you remember, Terrell Ramsey, VH1 had a show called Born a Diva that was like a singing competition. Terrell Ramsey won that. She had a record deal. Not the best deal, not the best promotion. It really didn't do anything. And then she actually ended up on The Voice. And I remember she competed against Frenchie Davis, who was also a contestant from American Idol, who they kicked her off because they found out she had some little, some little porn pictures and stuff, and folks wanted to be all super uptight. So they kicked her off the show. And so it's interesting to see how things work. PJ Morton, did anybody on here go to Essence, and did anybody go to the live recording for the PJ Morton and JoJo bit? Because I want to see how that went. Yes, I did hear about that. D, let's see. Nivea said having a baby kills their career. I hate to agree with that, but it is. I think today is a better time if you're a woman entertainer to have children, because it's not so, they're having babies. Like back in the day, 70s, 80s, 60s, when women got pregnant in the music industry, it was like something they try to hide, even the clothes. There weren't too many maternity shoots and everything like that. You got vilified for getting pregnant. So, yeah. Tina Marie was great. Hey, Sandra. Look, I know Sandra Hudson. That's from the UK. What time is it over there? It's like 6 in the morning? All right. We're about to wrap, folks, just because I do want to eat my snacks and I got to get up early. So we'll hang for a few more minutes. So, again, I would say follow me on Spotify. I'm thinking, so with this last project, I recorded like 60 songs and only 17 made the album. So I was thinking of maybe releasing like a few EPs or an unreleased B-sides kind of project. So definitely follow the Spotify or the Apple Music or Tidal or whatever you want to follow. I might upload some stuff in the next few months. We'll see. I just want to get my music video done though. June's Diary has too many members. I agreed with that as well. I thought 5 members was too many. I really think after 4, you start getting too many. But their harmonies are really good. So we'll see what happens with them. They just need some better representation. They don't really have a team behind them. The last few Super Bowl performances have sucked. Yeah, I haven't been crazy over a lot of the last ones. Lucy Pro is my favorite group back in the day as well. I really like them. Raindrops Will Fall. I do remember that song. Come to the ground. Yeah, I remember that. Let's see. She also remade the song God Bless the Dreamer. Tamara Gray, that was a good one too. What are your thoughts on the Lou Pearlman stuff with all of his acts in the Ponzi scheme? Did anybody see that documentary? It's on YouTube Red. I know most of us don't use that because hell, I'm on YouTube. I don't even use YouTube Red. But it was a documentary on Lou Pearlman, and it kind of talks about the behind the scenes of making Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, O Town, some other groups, and just how he was such a con artist and just stealing everybody's money. That's a good watch. Check that out if you get a chance. Oh, and Aaron Carter and all them. I'm like, man, greed just brings out the worst in people. It really does. It's terrible. Um, is it Judah Lux? I think I said that right. Thanks for that comment. All right, where we at? Hello, Mila B Speaks. I always see you always comment on all my videos. All right, folks. Well, this was real. So I'm gonna set my little timer here because you know how we do. We'll be on here for 5 days. All right. Let's see. I'm setting my little timer. I've got exactly 4 minutes. And we're getting off. So let's get in our last little comments here. Plus my phone is only on 2%. And I might call my mom back. Let's see. Good night for those who are getting off. Jermaine Jackson, Your Majesty seems to have the Jackson. Oh, I just saw that video. It kind of reminds me of the Made for Now video a little bit. Yeah, I do like the Your Majesty, but he's okay. Yeah, he's one of the with the Jacksons. There's so many of them. It's hard to keep up with who's who. But yeah, I liked Austin Brown as well too. I don't know what happened to him. He seemed like he was on his way and he kind of disappeared. Kelly Rowland could have been bigger if she worked with her. I say that a million times. I will never if I would produce for Kelly Rowland if she would let me. Like Kelly still has some opportunity to get there. It's just every time she'd come out with an album, she'd go and be a judge on X Factor Australia, or she'd just do something that had nothing to do with the album. Because like I said, Talk a Good Game was such a good R&B album. Like it was a really great R&B album. That album is a gem, and he didn't promote it. The Miss Kelly album from 2007 was really good. It did get promoted. It was successful overseas, but the album in between I wasn't crazy over. But Kelly is just like, dang. Nathan Moore said Michael Jackson is still alive. The music is. I'll give him that. Legacy, they keep trying to cancel him. I don't believe, by the way, I don't believe anything I saw in the Leaving Neverland documentary. I watched it. I'm like, I didn't trust all of that. And for me to actually go in and say that is a lot. Because usually when it comes to accusers, I go and take their side right off the bat. But too many loopholes. I can't do it. And I'm sorry. I didn't buy most of it. They had nothing tangible in it. It was all, you have to take their word for it. And Wade Robson, I'm sorry. Nope, can't do it. They're trying to kill Michael off. I'm like, the man's already dead. Like, just let the man be on his merry way. He already died for the music industry, and then that's how you treat him. That's messed up. Ha! Jalil. I remember that. The Monica. And it's After the Storm. Okay, if you follow me from way back when I really started the R&B is Dead videos, my old apartment, I used to have like these music posters on all the walls. And I had this day where I was just pissed off. And so I was talking about how I didn't like the marketing Monica had for the New Life album. And I was trying to compare the New Life album to how she did After the Storm. It's a funny little video. Good times. Let's see. Do you think Tweet could have made if her album didn't get shelved? Well, Tweet had wait, what album got shelved? Do you think Tweet could have made it if the thing shift totally? Do you think Tweet could have made it if the album didn't get shelved and changes in the second? Oh, the second one. The issue with her was Elektra was shifting the label. That's really what screwed over because Tweet, It's Me Again was a wonderful album. I like It's Me Again more than Southern Hummingbird. Great album. And even the last album she just came out was actually really, really good. I just don't know if there was a lane for her because when It's Me Again came out, that was 2005. That was the peak. No. I was going to say that was the peak of the whole crunk movement, but also in 2005, you saw the emergence of people like Life Jennings come out. So I think she still could have had a shot. So yeah, I take that back. Tweet she's a gem. I love Tweet. Let's see. Anyway. Got a few more minutes left here. What's this how though? What are you asking? I lost it. Do you think every Black American should get that check? I guess you're talking reparations. I mean, if your lineage can tie to slavery and tie to sharecropping and everything else, I definitely think if you your lineage can show that your lineage shows that the people in your family and everybody else were somehow affected by, oh, there's my time, were affected by just the policies and things that were put into place. Because again, that oppression was institutionalized and it was supported by the U.S. government. You can tie your family to that. Yes, that's the reason why there's a wealth gap today. All right, folks. Anyway, this has been great. We shall catch up again. We'll do another one of these in a few weeks after my birthday. Look, I'm about to go on like this long trip. I'm gonna go to Oakland, then I'm gonna go to LA, and then I'm gonna finish in Vegas and go see the Metamorphosis show. So yeah. And Chrisette Michele, yes, wonderful vocalist. I mean, I feel bad that y'all all canceled her, but half of y'all are still supporting Kanye. I'm like, either bring her back or just hit the refresh button on everybody, give everybody, I don't know. Anyway, this has been great, guys. Yes, calvinbmichaels@gmail.com. Yes. Everybody, please be safe. Those affected by all the crazy weather, because the Mother Nature's doing a number on all of us this month. They just said July was going to be that month, huh? This has been great. Everybody be safe. Good night. And yes, please go stream my album, The Hardcover. I worked really, really hard on it, and it's really, really great. Just put it in and play it in the car, because that's where it cranks at. Like, you got to play it in the car. Anyway, I'm out, you guys. Good night. Hair looking wild, too. Fix that.